So welcome, folks. It's good to see all of y'all again. How was the week?
Good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good it was. So unfortunately tonight we're missing a couple people. We're going to do a one-shot, and we've picked up a couple of randos hanging about, as well as a disconnected Jacob, who hangs in the channel for decoration, and we're going to play a little adventure here. So, the four of you are all going to be playing level 5 characters, and as such are adventurers with some degree of renown, a little bit of reputation behind your names, and all of you have respectively decided to travel to a town off in the distance, one that has a bit of a reputation and an intriguing myth about it. Now, off in the city of Windyhoon's Deep, there is a incredibly large noble estate which once belonged to the Windyhoon family, which was horribly killed in some sort of magical accident, which was believed to have happened in the cellar. Upon investigation, it was found that it was no cellar at all, but actually an incredibly large, sprawling dungeon. And with everyone in the family gone, the different nobles started to pick apart at the family's earnings and all of their wealth, and have begun the practice of sending adventurers into this large dungeon to go and pick up the Verwindyhoon treasure which lies beneath. Clearing out these different levels, adventurer groups are assembled and sent in. They are promised pay, and are also allowed to take whatever magical items they might find, so long as they don't bear the Verwindyhoon seal on the item. Those are to be handed over. All of you have decided through your own desires or circumstance to come to this town and to seek out fame and fortune. How about we go ahead and get a bit of backstory from your character there, Baller? Give me like a few sentences that describe Conrad.
Conrad Kurz is a thief who grew up in the Underdark, not with the Drow, but near them. To survive, he had to sneak into the Drow cities and steal food and what have you, and has become very adept with his nimble fingers.
Okay.
You know? Big fan of the 5-finger discount.
So you emerged from the ground here, having spent most of your life thieving in the dark caverns where the Drow dwell, to find that the only settlement nearby was Verwindyhoon's Deep, and so you have traveled there. And after spending maybe a day or two, you quickly heard about the local legend, and decided to head over there to check things out. It wasn't before long that you were speaking with a couple of guards there, and soon some different city officials, who arranged for you to be escorted down to a level that had not been cleared yet. You've been promised fame, fortune, and a near certain chance of running into some sort of horrible horrors which have been reported below, but that's nothing new for you. And as you're kind of going through this process of being cleared on how things work and everything like that, you're able to see some of the other entrants. And a lot of them look like they're much more yellow than you are. Like they're quite new and they don't look nearly as experienced. You see some who kind of look like some grizzled fighters, but a lot of them are sort of like country bumpkins that think that because they can swing a sword, they might be able to get through this. But you know that you're a good like pedigree higher than they are.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and get your backstory there, Koala.
Cool, this is alternate universe, dude, Aaron.
Yes, please.
Through no fault of my own, I am still without the use of my left arm.
Okay.
But I take offense to that country bumpkin stance.
Hmm.
We are proud people, and I am proud of my axe. I am a great hero, promised through my family and those who have adventured with me in the past.
Okay.
I can't think of anything more on the spot.
Fair enough. So, you grew up out in the outskirts of Verwindyhoon's Deep and have known the legend. You have lived with it, but you have never actually traveled there yourself. Throughout the years, as your strange sort of story of heroship grew and more people got behind the idea that Dudarin would one day rise up to save the lands, you eventually decided that now, with some combat underneath your belt, you would decide to travel into the deep and see what could be done about it, hopefully to emerge victorious with maybe some sort of magical implements to help you on your heroic quest, or maybe even fix your arm, which was damaged in a farming accident years back. Relic, tell us about your character.
My character is Philian Firehands, formerly known as Phil.
Okay. Alright, Phil.
Phil's a middle-aged wizard who sort of looks like a guy who just had a spell go off slightly improperly and his hair is a bit singed.
Sure.
He's been traveling the land looking for, just, really nice displays of fire.
Oh,
He's
boy.
on a secret search for what he thinks is called pure fire, most damaging substance in the known universe.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Now, you don't know how you're going to pull this off, but it's rumored that the Verwindihoons may have had something to do with creation of this pure fire. And so you've been drawn here, hoping to maybe come across old manuscripts, or maybe even a vial of the thing itself, if such a thing could exist. Now, traveling to the town, you spend a day or two getting familiar with the taverns and some of the folk, till eventually traveling to the estate itself, where you are to be arranged into a group here, travel down, and pass through one of the levels. Taslin, tell us about your character.
My character is Rovian Gerst, a disciple of the god of scrolls first, scholar Arex. Is that how you pronounce it? He grew up following this god, wizard, his studies to gain more knowledge. And after seeing some of the wounded come by and go to other temples, and some to his own, decided that his dream was to become a tactician. And now he travels the land seeking additional combat experiences to round out his book knowledge.
Okay.
How things should be done.
A friend of yours in the town of your residence has made a recommendation to you, telling you of another city, just one town over, a couple days travel by carriage, probably just a few gold to get over there in comfort and style. That in Verwindihoon's Deep, there is a large dungeon set which could provide you with not only some combat experience, but perhaps some companions and some gold as well if you can emerge victorious. Many have gone in, but some have not come out, but some have, and he's recommended this to you as a possibly useful test for your abilities and a way to garner some of these things that you're looking for. So with that, you've hopped onto the carriage and head off, and eventually made it over to the town, and now you are being grouped up into a small squad, which is to go in and clear one of the levels.
Small group tactics, good.
So everybody now is being placed into a room. One by one, you guys are introduced past the door and put into a what seems to be like a little waiting area here. The room is fashioned so that there are 3 walls and then a curtain, which is made of a fabric which is semi-transparent, so you can sort of see through it, and it kind of flows there in the wind from the window. And past that curtain, you can actually see the entrance into the deep. What was originally perhaps a cellar door has now been opened up and kind of remodeled into a expansive elevator system, where pulleys allow for a wooden cart, it seems, to be lowered and brought back up into the deep. You guys are all seated here in this 3-walled room on couches and get to meet one another for the first time. The guardsman has told you he'll be back in a moment, and some of the guard are being rounded up so that they can escort you down into the dungeon, and that it'll be a minute or two so that you can all kind of get familiarized with one another while he goes to get his men. You've been deposited here. Around the table, you can see your different companions here. One of you, describe what you look like, Conrad.
Ghostly pale, white hair, black eyes, like no pupils.
Okay. What are you wearing? Like leather armor and daggers, that kind of thing?
Yeah, leather armor, got a little short bow with me, rapier on the hip.
Okay. How about you there, Darren? What do you look like?
I have medium length brown hair, Dark brown eyes. Pretty tan skin. I spend a lot of time outdoors. I do have a bruised up left arm that I don't seem to be able to control very well. But I am wearing a chainmail with very like dirty, like peasant looking like clothes underneath it.
Okay, yeah, for sure. How about you there, Phil? What do you look like?
Normal looking human, short gray hair, gray beard, traveling cloak, and below the traveling cloak looks like red wizard robes with sort of stylized fire along the hem and cuffs.
Ooh, okay. And how about you, Rovion? What do you look like?
Sort of shorter length brown hair, a nice goatee going on, but same kind of wizard robe deal going on, though it's the colors of Arex, not red, not with fire. He carries a large tome, which you assume would be a spellbook, and a staff. There's also a dagger there, but no armor to be seen.
Okay. The four of you have been placed here, and the guardsman has wandered off. You can all see one another. You guys chit-chat at all?
Just looking over my companions, try to get an idea of what they're about.
Sure.
Illusion.
Yes.
Is there anything of value in this room?
Ah.
God.
It appears
There
that
we
on the table you've been left with some items which could be of use to you. You've all been provided with a tankard of ale and what looks like some snacks that have been placed on simple wooden plates at the center of the table. You can see what looks like bits of chicken that have been fried up. You can see what looks like a little bowl of porridge there. You can see there's a bowl of stew as well and some smaller bowls beside it. Basically, there's a meal there. One, not necessarily fit for a king or anything, but definitely a cut above what you'd find in a tavern.
Oh, dang.
Okay. Well, what about is it just us, or are those green adventurers still hanging around?
While being escorted
Ooh,
here,
boy.
you could see past the transparent veil that marks the room that you were placed into, and I happen to know that there's actually a couple of other ones nearby, which also face over towards the deep. So if you were to hop out of your room right now, you would be able to slip into some of the other ones if you wanted, and yeah, you had seen some of those green adventurers in there.
Ooh. Nah. I'll just eat my food, hang out.
Okay. I will mention that the tankards of ale that you've been handed look like they're made out of pewter or silver. So they could be of some worth. Probably a few silver or something like that, if anything.
So
Just a
I
few
suppose
silver,
we'll be working together for at least the time we're down here, yes?
It appears so.
Well then, my name is Rovian Gerst, a wizard, and studying to be a tactician. Like, see our rogue-like friend. Who are you?
Conrad
like
looks
the-
over at you with his pupilless black pits.
Oh.
Conrad.
Conrad. You look like quite the stealthy type. Are you good at lockpicking?
Yes.
Good. Be very useful. And you? I assume you are some sort of fighter.
I am Dudarin. I am a hero born and bred.
Oh, a hero. Very nice. Always good for the front lines, heroes. Very good at killing. What kind of weapon do you have?
I have a battle axe.
Axes. Good. And you, fellow spellcaster?
Phil kind of looks over you. Oh, who? Me?
Yes. Yes, you.
Oh, my name's Phil. Kind of reach a hand out to you. Should be noted. Hand is currently wearing a glove that looks like it's on fire.
I'll kind of
Rupert's
like.
over. Hi, Phil.
Does it like actually look like it's on fire?
I mean, you're a spellcaster. You'd probably figure out it has the continual flame spellcast on it.
Okay, I'll be like, yes. I would rather not burn myself.
Oh no, it's fine.
No, it's not.
But looking down, I'll kind of like touch it with my other hand. No, look, it's fine. It's cool.
I don't know the continual spell.
Kind of just like touch the hand to my face. See, look, nice and cool. No problem.
I would like all of you to roll perception, please.
Creates no heat. Yeah. All right, I'll shake your hand then. Perception, you say?
Ooh.
Nat 20.
That's a 4.
I think my game just lagged out.
I rolled a 10.
Can't see any dice. What did I roll?
Or
A nat
one.
You
A
rolled a. Yeah. You're not paying attention. We're
Okay,
shaking
nat 1?
hands. We don't notice anything.
While you're
Let me
all
just
seated
connect.
here, Dudarin, you hear something. It's a pair of footsteps headed towards you. It sounds like one of the kitchen staff off in a far-off corner of the room, and then the footsteps grow closer and closer, and it doesn't sound like they're accompanied by the jingle of armor or anything like that. You think some of the wait staff are coming towards you. What do you want to do?
I mean, if I believe it's wait staff, then I'll just let them continue on with whatever they're doing.
Okay.
Munch on some of the food.
Snacking on some food.
Okay.
So what are you guys doing here?
Well, so looking for more battle experience. I've studied quite a bit, but being out in the field is much different from staying in the abbey and reading books. I've had my
Hmm.
bout here and there, but I need much more than.
Some people I had helped out told me I should come and prove myself and make some money on the way.
Money.
Stepping up towards you now, you hear a footstep or two as somebody makes their way past the transparent cloth over on one side of the room. Getting up towards the table, you see what looks to be the barkeep. You had seen him behind the bar while you guys had entered and been escorted to this little area. And as he comes into your closed-off little dining room here, he has with him a large tray, and the tray seems to have even more food on it. As he comes up, he places it down at your table and gives you guys like a brief bow, and then turns to leave and go out of the room.
How generous.
Did you all order anything?
I didn't.
Can't remember.
Barkeep turns to face you, Dudarin, and he says, "Oh no, this is free of charge. This is your first time, is it not?"
Yes.
That'd be right.
I wasn't sure. You look a little bit more experienced than the other sort in here today. There's always a good meal served to anybody who's traveling into the deep. It might be your last, after all. Good luck out there.
Certainly. Thank you.
He turns to leave and heads off.
Well then, I certainly plan to enjoy this possibly last meal.
It won't be my last. Should not be much.
Is there no
of a
food down there? Yeah,
Perhaps,
force
perhaps not. I doubt it.
that. If any of the food available to us looks non-perishable,
Hmm?
Phil begins stuffing it in his pockets.
Nice. Okay, yeah, sure enough. There's some tater tots nearby that look like you could.
Napoleon, give me some of your tots.
Some tater tots nearby that look like you could store them for
Is
later.
there like a napkin I can like kind of wrap them up in first? Or...
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've been
Perfect.
provided with that. Your feast has only gained in its opulence here, and you've been provided with little napkins and things like that, and there's like a little pitcher of wine that's been placed nearby. As you go ahead and stuff the food here, you guys sit and eat and chit-chat a little bit about the adventure to come, till eventually the sound of armored men begins to travel towards your room. Passing beyond the cloth, you see a group of 5 men completely kitted out in plate armor. They are equipped to the hilt here and ready for combat. And you see that as one of them comes up towards you, he has wrapped up in one of his arms, his helmet, and his face is that of the captain who had originally brought you to this seat in the first place. He looks down at all of you and says, well, looks like you done your food. Ready to head on in?
Ready to go.
Let's be off then. Come on now.
That's what,
Do any of these plate-wearing guardsmen have their coin purses on the outside of their armor?
Make a perception check, please.
as we stand up, I'm gonna grab like 1 or 2 rolls and put them in my pockets for later.
Okay.
A 10.
A 10. You can
Super
see
chest.
right now, it doesn't seem like it, but as you guys kind of get up to go, one of them turns and reveals that near the back end of his belt there is a little purse there. One that looks like it might hold some coin.
Okay.
It's not the captain himself, but one of his squad members here. Well, let's get going then. No reason staying here if we don't have to.
Sure. Let's go.
In what position of the formation is this guy with his coin purse?
So you guys are... Here is the captain. He's got the 2 men there. And here, and then you guys are following behind them.
Alright.
I'm missing a token, by the way.
Yep, you are.
The one that
yes.
has the coin purse? This guy right here.
Yes, illusion. The 2 rolls I rolled earlier were my nation rolls. There were a 2 and a 3.
2 and a
Just so
3.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So as you guys are wandering, you head over towards the deep. And there is a cart which has been brought up here. There are heavy, heavy cords of rope which meet at different parts of the cart and lead to a pulley system which heads up into the top of this grandiose room. Kind of like the recess in which a church bell would lie. Instead, it's a pulley system up there. There's a few men standing nearby who give a nod towards the captain, who gives them a nod as well. And he turns and motions for all of you to step onto the cart.
Alright.
Okay. You guys comply?
As we're moving through the guards, does it look like I might have an opportunity to, loosen said guard of his, undesirables?
Could
And by that I
certainly
mean
try.
his money.
But I mean, it's funny.
As the guard motions for you to step onto the tram here, there's going to be a time where you pass by said guardsman. You want to attempt to nick his coin purse while you do?
Yep. Yeah, I do.
I would like a sleight of hand check from you, please.
Alright. Okay, that's it's a 24.
Alright, let's see if he rolls a nat 20. Rolled pretty well, but not that well. As you pass by, your hand slips out, and in a very brief moment, you not only pull a string that holds the purse in place, but kind of grab the purse itself, clench the coin so it makes no noise, and stuff it into your side pocket here as you go by. It seems that he's none the wiser, and as all of you step onto the tram here, the guards step on as well, and eventually the whole thing begins to lower. You can add to your inventory, Conrad, a bag of 15 gold coins.
That'll be useful in the dungeon.
The cart begins to descend, and as it does so, there is a few seconds that go by before you pass a landing, somewhere where the cart could disembark, but instead it goes past and goes to another one. And then it goes to another one, and then another one as you go deeper and deeper into the ground. You guys see different things as the cart begins to lower itself into the earth. The first couple levels seem to have guards in them, and a lot of them are very well lit and have people who look as though they're inspecting the place or wandering around. You see a couple armed men with torches, the regular rabble, militia in chainmail, that sort of thing. But then as you get deeper and deeper, things begin to change. And eventually you pass by rooms that, even though you don't stop at, are completely dark, as though its contents may not have been scoured yet. And then you go past another one, where off in the distance you hear some sort of strange sound, like a liquidy abomination tearing somebody apart, the sound of meat and sinew being ripped. You go further, and further, and further into the deep.
Pleasant.
One of the guards gives you a weird look. He places his hand onto the pommel of his sword as though he's ready to draw it, should you turn out to be not one of the nicer adventurers to travel in here, but some sort of miscreant. Further you guys descend, until eventually you get to an area where one of the guardsmen here nods to the captain, and the captain in turn reaches towards something. He grabs for one of the ropes nearby and kind of tugs on it a little bit. And as you guys are reaching one of the landings, the whole thing begins to slow down. It's not an exact thing. It doesn't stop right by the landing. It's sort of like 1 foot beneath, so you have to step up a particularly large stair. But as you guys get to this point, the whole thing comes to a halt, and the guard captain is the first to step off, and then he motions for the rest of you to follow, while his guards continue standing on the cart.
As we're going down, can I look at this contraption and see if I can make any understanding about how it works? Or if I could manipulate it to get back up, should they leave?
Make an investigation check.
Investigation. 22.
Okay. Looking at the cart, you find a curious lack of controls, and from your brief examination of the pulley system above, and then your lengthy examination of the cart while you were descending, you actually think that there is no way to manipulate it, and that all of the controls seem to be pulled off above ground. The pulling of this little rope here done by the captain seems to have signified something to the forces up above. But past signifying or sending a message up the rope, don't think that this can be controlled from down here.
Okay, good to know.
Is everybody disembarking?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Stepping off from the thing, you all make your way from the cart and step into a level of the dungeon, which, according to legend, has not been cleared. Your task for the day. The guards follow you, and the cart seems to stay behind you in the long shaft that descends near endlessly into the ground. The first room that you all step into seems to be empty, and as the guards wander forward, they hold in their hands torches and pull out their weapons as though there could be anything here. But the only thing that is found in the area is a skeleton of a long dead man, so long dead that his bones look to be picked almost completely clean, and his torso has been replaced by the long left cobwebs of some sort of spider. And there is a single wooden, decrepit-looking door at the other end of the room. When the guards are satisfied that they found everything, which involves quite a bit of investigation, tapping on the walls, checking the very corners, the ceiling, everything like that, they eventually report back, and the captain steps towards you. Looking at your group of 4, he tells you, "All right, well, this is it. Ready to step inside.
Certainly.
Remember the deal. Nobles of this town pay you very well, but if anything has the Verwindihoon seal, you are to hand it over when you come back up. Safe journey."
What does the Verwindihoon seal look like?
You have been shown this in great detail, and have actually all been handed a note. You could have taken it or left it up top if you wish. The note has what looks to be It's like a little circular crest here, and in the center there is a vine of it's like a grapevine with a bunch of little grapes on it, and then a dagger underneath. They have made sure that you'd look at this, and this had all happened during the preparation bringing you to the place there. Like, this all happened before dinner.
Got it.
So with that, the guards eventually make their way back to the cart. The guard captain gives another tug to the rope system here, and the thing begins to pull in the opposite direction, traveling upwards until they're out of view.
As they're starting to leave it, Captain,
He gives you a look.
how do we come back up when we are done?
Patrols come down to this level every now and then. Are still alive, be picked up.
Wonderful. Every now and then, meaning every day, every week.
By the time that you've asked him this, his feet are kind of disappearing past the landing here. I'd like you to roll perception to see if you hear what he says.
Alright. That is a 15.
Ah, okay. You hear. He says, every day.
Wonderful, thank you.
The cart disappears. The sound of rope being pulled taut disappears into the echoing shaft from whence it came. You're all left in a fairly large room, about yay big.
Is the room lit currently?
Doorway over there. There. The shaft is right there. Go. The room is not lit. It was completely black. The guards had their own torches, but now that they've left and the cart has kind of brought its way back up, the room has fallen into darkness once again.
As the light would have been fading, I would have taken out my red wizard's hat, conveniently also cast with continual flame. Assuming that's fine.
Absolutely, go for it.
All right. You see Phil take out a red wizard's cap. She slaps down on his head, which seems to be just constantly on fire, providing a torch's worth of light.
Okay. This is the first room
I am sensing
here.
a theme here.
What was that?
I am sensing a theme here.
Very
nice.
The dungeon? I don't think
No,
we've gone in far enough to really get a theme out of it.
you, my good sir. The fire. So much fire. I'll
Figure
pull
it out?
out.
What
I'll
gave it
pull
away?
out my torch and light it up with prestidigitation, using mage hand to hold it up above my head. Well, the fire, really.
Well, I may have gone a bit overboard. Nah.
Nah, fire's awesome.
Ha.
I too am a fan of flames, though not quite as much as fire, of course. Well,
Walking over to the only doorway in the room.
Ah. The doorway that you step up to is old and decrepit. Much of it has been destroyed by the ages, and planks which were likely very well put together when they were at first constructed have now given way and have chipped in different areas. The whole thing looks like it could be just barreled through by a city guardsman who had even a mild cold. It's quite frail. There is a simple little handle over in the bottom right.
Phil, with his 8th strength, will take his quarterstaff and sort of nudge the door.
Okay. As you tap the door opens up, and as it does, it swings about 2 feet into the room, or what appears to be some sort of hallway, actually, and then it goes another foot, and then seems to stop for a moment, and then you hear and the door just kind of falls apart as it falls from its hinges, clatters down to the ground, and breaks apart into its respective planks, leaving you with a large hallway in front of you and no door left.
Oh, sorry guys, I don't know my own strength.
well, it appears we will not be making our way stealthily, at least this first area.
The hallway extends for about this far, and then eventually goes up to another door, though this door appears to be quite different. It is much, much stronger looking and seems to have been built by somebody who had no shortage of materials and who had boarded it up very extensively. And you can see a great deal of layers of wood and nails here and there, so much that it could be like a very poorly built bank door, almost like a door to a vault. Inside of the hallway, you can see that it is not empty either, and instead there is all manner of strange things laying about. Conrad, as you step inside, since you're the first one into the hallway, I'd like you to go ahead and make for me a perception check. What was that? Baller, you're
Silent.
muted. Baller!
All right, yeah, you got me. You got me. That's my third 10 on a perception check tonight.
Nice, okay. As you look around in this hallway, you can see refuse, what looks like piles of garbage, and indeed there is a smell that accompanies the sights and seems to match up pretty well. It's not very pleasant. Amidst the refuse, you notice something. The walls have things hanging from them, as though somebody has taken different weapons and ropes and things like that and nailed them to the walls so that they kind of crisscross back and forth, forming some sort of like mishmash of like a weird network of garbage and like little piles of decay and things like that. You see broken spears, what looks like a backpack that hangs from the ceiling, whole bunch of stuff.
Okay.
Cast mage armor on myself. Get that out of the way.
I think if someone spends so much money creating a dungeon, they'd keep it clean.
Farmer boy
What do you mean by like a backpack hanging from the ceiling? Hanging from the ceiling by what?
Z says you have entered an edgy 14-year-old's room. Oh, it's beautiful.
Smells like a possible trapped room. Yeah. Looking around, do I see anything that could be of value besides the backpack?
Amidst all the refuse and everything here, there certainly could be. Do you want to step inside and give it a gander?
For now, I'll just mage hand the backpack down myself, provided it's...
Sure, yeah. Nearby, there's a backpack which hangs from the ceiling on a rope here, connected to a bunch of other things. You go ahead and tug on the backpack, and it actually does come loose. Though, your mage hand isn't actually able to carry it, because whatever its contents were, you were able to nudge on the thing, but its weight was too much, and your mage hand failed. The backpack falls down to the ground with a loud clatter. You hear the sound of a bunch of metal on metal, and watch as the top of the backpack flies open, and what looks like random dishes spill out from it and clatter over the ground in an incredibly loud ruckus. As this happens, you also watch as a spear swings from the side wall and flails out, not hitting anything. You can also
Very
hear,
trapped.
and this is obvious for everybody, that there's a great deal of commotion that comes from the door down the hallway.
And possibly enemies. Wonderful.
All right, I'm gonna start taking my time, inspecting every piece of debris,
Investigation
making
check,
my
please.
way
Can I
to
help
the
him with this?
door. A 21.
21. Okay. You step forward looking around and identify as you travel like 10 feet in a good 3 very crude made traps. You pass by further and dodge another 2. You start to dodge another 2 as you keep going. It's like everything from little pressure plates made out of dishes to rope swings that lead to like swords that have been left on the side of the wall. It's very crude, and it has been hidden by the garbage and just the absolute mess that's been laid in front of you. But you can see numerous traps and begin to start sifting through them and getting towards the door there. You can also hear a little bit more as you get closer, and I'd like you to make another check for me. What do you have for intelligence proficiencies?
Intelligence proficiencies?
Yes.
I'm proficient in investigation and arcana.
Okay. Roll an insight check for me then, please. Oh no.
Whoop. Insight. Okay, that's a 4.
You've traveled for some time as a adventurer going through the Underdark and briefly up on the surface here. And you hear something from beyond the door. It's chitter-chatter. There are creatures speaking to one another. But maybe it's not clear, maybe you've simply never heard them. You don't actually know what language they're speaking. But it sounds like there's some plotting happening behind the door. You're halfway in, surrounded by traps behind you and traps in front of you. You have identified all of them. Like, you can see all of them, where they are and everything like that, so that you feel like you could comfortably move through them without triggering them. But if you had to move in a hurry, you might accidentally set something off. Given your current predicament, what do you want to do?
Well, door's closed, right?
Mm-hmm. It is closed.
So making it down to one end of the hallway, I'd like to, pick out all of the locations that I've identified as traps and work my way back to the rest of the party, disarming or marking them in some way, as many of them as I can.
Okay. As you pass by
Actually,
here,
I don't know what is it required to disarm a trap? Does it take like a trap disarming kit or like?
it depends
I
on the
have
trap.
something in my okay.
Some of them might require actual tools, especially if they're sophisticated. With these, most of them could be disarmed just by moving a simple object or cutting a rope here or something like that. If you want, you can start to do that, though it will take more time than if you simply step past them and go back to your group.
Yeah, I'll begin to disarm them.
Okay, sounds good. Do you have a blade on you?
2 daggers, motherfucker.
Make a sleight of hand check, please.
Uh-oh.
Oh no, that's one of my best things.
Terrible.
Okay. 26.
Okay. Stepping past, you quickly cut through this, and you actually find that it takes you less time than you had anticipated. You snip a rope here, flick a little weapon off of the wall here, and eventually disarm a bunch of traps as you step back to the group less than a minute later. Nothing has come from beyond the door, and the sounds from beyond the door have actually started to die down by the time that you get back towards your group. Most of the traps up to about here have been disarmed.
Okay.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to finish walking all the way up to the door and then go back.
Oh, okay.
You must disarm all of them.
Given that your check was good enough, I'd say that we can call this hallway disarmed.
Okay.
There's still some
making it
clutter
back
in the way,
to the
but that's about
party.
it.
Making it back to the party, I'll just, briefly tell them about the traps that I encountered and the measures that I took to disarm them, should there be, something that they really shouldn't kick over. And then I'll say, also, on the other side of the door, I heard voices, and I'd like to attempt to mimic what I heard to the best of my ability.
Sure, okay. You try to recreate the sounds here. Make a performance check for me.
Uh-oh.
A skill everybody gets.
9.
9, okay. You try and recreate it as best you can, but it's not very good, and the rest of you who hear this aren't really able to glean anything from it. But it does sound like some sort of language. Like there might be something semi-intelligent past that door, or multiple things semi-intelligent past the door.
Troubling. I somewhat wish you hadn't disarmed the hallway now, but what's done is done. Well,
I will say that I did hear voices on the other side of the door.
What were they saying?
Burn them all.
They were saying, yeah, I don't know. But,
peering down the hallway,
based
is
on
this-
these traps, they're probably not friendly, so...
is this door made of wood?
The one on the other end of the hallway?
Yep.
Yes, the door at the end of the hallway is indeed made of wood, and it has been cobbled together using heavy nails, multiple planks. It looks quite sturdy, although built by somebody who clearly gave no cares when it came to proper straight lines and things like that.
Well, Thillian, if these creatures are perhaps hostile, we could just burn the door down from right here.
Hmm. I haven't set anything on fire yet today.
Your
I've been
hat
feeling
and your
off.
glove?
Well, they've been on fire. He travels with them on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Conrad hears this from Phil,
Mm-hmm.
and Combat rolls to the side and attempts to hide.
Okay. So you go ahead and pocket a little space past the doorway there, hoping to save yourself from whatever's about to happen. These two wizards conspire amongst themselves and speak of flames. Not exactly what everyone wants to hear.
Looking between Conrad and Dudarin, if they don't seem opposed, I'll get ready to start casting Firebolt at the door.
Yep, I will as well.
Okay.
I give you ample room.
Alright.
Alright.
Are you guys
Already
going
my
to fire
short bow.
firebolts?
And
Fire off some Firebolts.
Okay. I'll have both of you roll an attack then, as you would normally if you were firing this at an enemy.
alright.
Nice. 16 there.
21.
Okay.
That's a
Sorry, 23.
16.
Okay. Both of your shots find their mark and strike the large, heavy-banded door at the back here. They let off, like, charred marks for a brief moment, like a psh, as they hit the door, but the motes of flame aren't quite enough to really set it on fire. There is no response from beyond the door.
I throw another one.
I'm just continuously firing off Fireballs, or Firebolts
Yeah.
at this point.
Okay. It takes a little bit of time, but eventually, after hitting the same area, you manage to set the door on fire, and it begins to burn. As this happens here, the door starts to light, and flames begin to go up, and smoke begins to billow within the hallway, and the smoke begins to billow out into your room.
Good thing we have a nice air vent over there. And I'll kind of like.
Phil just stands in the middle of the
wait.
smoke, unfazed.
Okay.
He's done this before.
Now, as you guys are standing here, you're going to wait for this thing to burn up and then check it when it's done being a smoldering wreck, right?
Pretty much.
Okay. I would like all of you to make for me a Constitution saving throw, but I want Phil to roll it with advantage as the smoke billows out, and as the garbage begins to burn, noxious fumes begin to fill into the room here.
11.
11, okay.
13.
12.
19.
Okay. You're the only one that failed that DC 12, Rovian. Filling into the area, these noxious fumes begin to seep into the room, and all of you kind of stifle a cough here and there. But you're not feeling very good as this begins to come into here. You accidentally, while trying to hold your breath, manage to actually pull in some of the fumes for a brief moment before getting low to the ground, and you feel like a horrible queasiness and a cough begins to settle in here. For the time being, you are poisoned.
Okay. Good to know.
Is Rovian coughing? Like,
Yes. He's not
I'm
doing
giving him like a slap on the back, like, get it out, get it out. Just...
What did they have in that hallway?
Now, as the fire burns and burns, the ropes in this hallway are set ablaze, and you can hear as already dismantled traps begin to fall apart, and metal clanks down to the ground, and pieces of wood go up and burn away until eventually it begins to stop, and the fires give way to like a mild crackling sound of embers that have been left in its place. This whole process takes a little while, and you guys wait here for minutes and minutes and minutes until it eventually is done. But when it finishes up, Rovian looks like he's not feeling particularly well, and the hallway looks like it's been cleared up.
Is the door open? I'll
The
peek
door-
at the edge.
The door appears to still be closed, and instead you find a very charred, like completely charred black pane of wood there.
I will make my way through the rubbish very carefully.
Okay. There are the sounds of like cracking as you step over charcoal pieces that break apart under your feet.
Okay. Making my way to the door. I'll again use my quarter step and kind of like poke at it, assuming that it crumbles.
The destroyer of doors, Phil, you poke out with your quarterstaff, and sure enough, the whole thing crumbles down to the ground. Pieces of charcoal clattering across the floor, and you see on the other side what looks like a very large group of goblins. I'd like everybody to please roll initiative. It's time to stab you guys to death.
That'd be stabby time.
Ugh.
Aw.
That's 5.
Well, the gobos rolled a natural
Boys.
one, so
Oh,
Oh, that's nice.
oh, all right.
yeah.
I'm okay with this.
Whoa, what the?
Let's,
Whoa, who
hopefully
got
get
the
some
negative?
markers.
Is that actually where you are, Rovian?
Sorry, hold on a second.
I assume not. Then.
Where do I get?
Yeah, right
where do I
there.
get a little thing?
Can I steal one of these or?
Oh,
Do you
no,
not
no,
have
no,
a
no,
skittle?
No.
Everyone should have a skittle.
Oh, never mind.
Oh,
Dude, everyone gets a skittle.
There we
Everyone
go.
gets Skittles, man. I love Skittles. Red ones are my favorite.
Red one's your fave.
I like the purple ones because they don't exist.
A non-existent skittle is a good skittle.
It's a weird affinity Skittles got there.
Right, let's see here. Oh, they don't actually have goblin, but kobold is close enough.
That'll work.
Really, they don't have goblin?
Apparently not. Not that I saw there.
That's surprising.
Feel cheated.
That's a lot of goblins.
I mean, these kobolds look a lot of goblins.
No, they have. Yeah.
Good
Ah.
God.
Illusion, this is gonna be very useful. Could you promote me for a second here?
What are you
Pull
bringing in?
The area effect tokens.
Oh, we'll just draw them in.
All right.
Those spires?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a goblin thing illusion. It's hiding.
Oh, did I miss it? Where is it at?
Yeah, it's in there. Right here.
Oh shit.
I was like, no way they don't have goblins. I mean, the one king goblin.
Standing like right here. And he's like 6 foot tall. Like there's one goblin that looks particularly large compared to the rest of them.
But it's slightly more goblin-like.
Conrad, it's your turn. What do you want to do? As the doorway has been sundered by Phil and his magical staff of door decimation, the room opens up, and all of the creatures can be seen past it. It's goblins. They're all over the place. Little, like 3 to 4 foot tall creatures with sharp weapons, all chitter-chattering to themselves, ready to eat all of you and tear you apart. What do you want to do?
Was I stealth at the beginning of this?
Ah, I would say yes.
Okay. So if I were to peek from my shadowy corner and shoot at the big guy, would I get advantage?
You would get your first shot at advantage.
Okay. I will do just that. I will peek from my corner and shoot the big guy
Okay, go for it.
with my short bow.
Do you have the proper range for that, or is it past
I
80?
believe so. I'm not really sure. Like, forget how the thing works.
I'd say
weapon
you
you
are
have?
good.
Yeah. It's every 5 feet, right? Per number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Saying I'm good. Holy moly. So, Dex plus proficiency. A 15?
Okay, you still hit. Also, Cerebrit asked if it wasn't Conrad Cruz, if it was Ted Cruz.
No, it's definitely not Ted Cruz.
I think he was referring to the 6 foot tall goblin.
Oh, okay, alright.
I don't know. Let's ask it if it likes incest porn. All right.
You definitely hit. Roll your damage, please.
All right. Rolling 1d6 short bow and sneak attack damage. For 15 plus 3, 18 damage.
You peek around the corner for a brief moment, Conrad, and fire out with your short bow a single arrow. It passes Phil here and goes over his shoulder and sails directly into the eye socket of this incredibly large goblinoid here. Immediately, it just takes a step back and falls over dead. All the other goblins kind of look at each other in surprise.
I'd like to bonus action hide.
Okay, roll stealth for me. Alright.
21.
You are probably hidden. Yep, you're good.
You are probably. Nope, you're not. Damn it.
Surprise 20s happen. Rovian, it's your turn. It's a room full of goblins down past a hallway of burnt trash.
Well, I think I'm gonna hold my action to cast a spell here after the goblin. If that's right.
Like you're just gonna hold your turn?
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll put you over here.
that'll work.
It is your turn, Dudarin. What do you want to do?
I'm going to stand in the doorway and take the dodge action.
Oh, nice. Okay. And Phil, how about yourself?
Considering that I'm fairly close, my hat is made of fire, and what are these orange spots?
Those are little burnt, bonfires in the room.
Okay, so there's a reasonable amount of light in the room, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You can see.
Can I see, are these goblins equipped with ranged weapons, or just melee?
Some of them seem to have what look like very rudimentary bows, and others have things that look like javelins, which could be tossed towards you. But most of them just have like a spear or whatever, and they carry one, so if they were to throw it, they would be out of a weapon. Only a few of them actually have like multiples.
Okay. I'm going to move sort of behind Dudarin and use him as cover.
All right.
And then hold my action.
Okay. What action are you holding?
I'm going to cast a spell Burning Hands, essentially as the goblins move towards Dudarin, hopefully before they attack, if I can.
Okay, like right before they make their attacks.
Like as they're all like converging on him, cast it.
Sounds good. It rolls around to the creatures then, and let's see what we've got for distances.
Going to take 80 disadvantaged attacks.
Everyone, get in here!
There you go, Relic.
Hmm?
Have
Huh?
have a thing.
I have a thing.
You have a thing. Description is your cone distance.
Uh-huh. Oh, wait, it keeps rotating itself.
The creatures run up, and a couple of them toss spears towards you, Dudarin. You have a couple of attacks. The first one with disadvantage saves you from a nat 20. That's pretty good. Does a 14 hit?
Nope.
Okay. The next one is a 13. And the one after that is a nat 1. A spear is launched out and flies here. I'm going to roll luck for you. And actually manages to stick into the back of one of the other goblins. As they all crowd around you, one of them screams in pain as a episode of Friendly Fire takes place. And all of them rush up, ready to make their attacks on you. Now, they have their weapons ready. Is this when you want to cast your spell, Phil?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and do that, so you can place your spell
It is
over.
a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah, let's see how many of them you can get stuck in it.
Using this thing.
To rotate.
Oh, that. Come on. Come on. Gotta fine tune this.
Looks like 4.
Looks like 4?
Yeah,
I think
I'd be
4
down
is
with
most I'm
that.
getting here.
You can just
So-
barely burn this guy here.
I also make it a seizure.
No. Because I'm an evocation wizard, so I force you to
Ah.
save it. Take no damage.
Okay, nice.
Very nice.
So you
Okay, I'm
hold out
making
a spell
dex
here and
advantage right
curve
now.
the flames. I am going to make some checks here. So the first 2 right in front of you fail, and then the back 2. What's the DC?
Hehe. DC is 15.
Oh shit. Okay, well one of them got a 14, but they all fail. So go ahead and roll damage.
Perfect. And it's probably a good time to tell you I also took the Elemental Adept feat
Mhm.
for fire.
Whoa, dice! Please reroll
Oh,
those.
dice. I'm back, dice.
Tabletop. Why?
Not
You
relevant.
okay there, Relic?
That is 9 damage.
No, please reroll them.
I'll reroll?
Yeah.
Alright. Tabletop, please.
Very average roll, which is now much higher.
Hey, thank you for the reroll. That is now 14 damage.
Okay. You watch here, Dudairn, as flames wrap around your body and fill you with a heat, but it's more like being close to a very warm hearth than it is actually being incinerated like the goblins in front of you. They are reduced down to ash as the flames sweep around your form and then just fly out in front of you. And by the time that the magical flames have disappeared, there is nothing but little piles of, like, bits of metal and stone and stuff like that amidst, like, little ash heaps on the ground. All of these are dead. And apparently one special one on the side. After that, with the creatures running up, a lot of them actually immediately turn and start running in the opposite direction. And just completely decide to leave. Rovian, it's your turn.
Alright, well, I will just, let's say I'll firebolt this one. Some poison, that's disadvantage.
Okay.
Don't see the need to burn any spells on this. That's probably gonna miss with a 9.
Okay. You fire this out, but it actually hits the door frame very close to Dudairn's head and doesn't manage to make it way like over his shoulder and hitting the creature over there. Or rather, underneath past his leg.
Sorry!
Watch it!
Conrad, you're up next, unless you got something else there, Rovian.
Nope.
Okay.
That's it.
What do you want to do, Conrad? You have to fire
Can
through
I-
that little doorway, so you don't have a ton of options.
Yeah, what do you think is reasonable target here?
I would say through here, you could make a attack on this one normally, disadvantage on this one.
Alright, I'll make the normal attack then.
Okay, go for it. And,
And that's
you are
without
hidden.
advantage?
So you're hidden, so you do get advantage on that one.
Alright, excellent. Cool, and thank God I did. 17?
17 hit. Roll damage.
We knew the one was coming, it was just a matter of one.
It's the baller curse. You're not playing a halfling.
Yeah. Scatter shot.
Let me just
Where a
fucking
bowler
get.
comes out of the ceiling.
He gets like Dorito dust on everything. Come on, man.
So that's gonna be a arrow for 18 damage.
Nice. Okay, the arrow flies through here, and you watch as it goes and pierces the goblin's neck and emerges from the other side, sailing even further into the room and then clattering to the ground. The red arrow shaft kind of tumbles over the cobblestone steps, and the goblin's body soon hits the ground afterwards. Is that your turn?
I would like to bonus action hide.
Roll that hide, please. The creatures rolled... Oh, they rolled nat 1, so unless you nat 1 here, you're fine. Okay.
Okay, I did not in that one.
You are good. You quickly duck and hide around the corner. It's your turn, Dudairn. What do you want to do?
Well, these things are pansies, so I'm just gonna
Wow, that's a
Make
lot of
the-
nat ones for them.
make the first attack on this guy right next to me.
Okay, go for it.
Ugh, it's probably gonna miss it with a An 8.
An 8. Okay. You swing out, but the creature's quite small, and as you aim for its head, it makes a quick duck, and your axe blade just whoosh goes directly above. Is that your turn?
Well, I have extra attack, so he's just gonna get the second one then.
Nice. Yeah, maybe this one will land. Let's see what we got. Ugh.
Fuck off! That's a 12.
Okay, you swing out and miss, unfortunately. As the creature dodges to the side, your axe swings down and hits the stone there. Is that your turn?
Yeah, I hate your tabletop.
Poor, poor tabletop. There. Phil, it's your turn. What do you want to do?
The goblins that are nearby, do they look like they're about to flee as well, or?
Yeah, none of them are interested in fighting you guys. In the one that's next to Dudarin here is like temporarily dodging his attacks, but you can tell he's looking over his shoulder and he's getting ready to just peace out. He is not having
Alright.
this.
I'll just stand proud of my handiwork and hold my action. Hold my turn.
Okay, we will remove you from the bar. Just say whenever you want to kind of get on it. And next up are the creatures here. Darren, this one disengages from you and then runs off and gets to about here, while the rest dash off much further into the room. This one runs over here. And this one's run over here. You guys are in pseudo-combat at this point. You can run to chase after them if you wish, but you can see that as they run off into the distance, there is a separate door at each side of the room. On the left, there is a doorway. On the right, over on the opposite side as well. It looks like they've broken off into batches and are running, scurrying off into the dungeon. The next person up, it's you, Rovian. What do you want to do? From your vantage point, you can see into the room, because there's all these different like fires that are gently burning. You get a pretty good idea of where they're headed with the lighting and all that. It seems like they're all just leaving and heading off.
What wonderful trap setters. They
Quick,
will, I'm sure, clear our way. Things the dungeon has left. And I'll like take out my my water flask and try to get this smoke out of my throat.
Okay. Go ahead and make for me another Constitution saving throw.
Plus dice. Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's it.
Try as you might, you drink some water and hope that it'll help out, but you end up coughing afterwards again. It is a pleasant break from the onslaught, but you're worried that something may have actually happened, and you may have contracted some sort of disease or ailment from this, as it's not something that can be fixed with a bit of water. You might need to see a cleric after this, or maybe worse.
Well, so much for rolling anything that requires an attack. Alright.
After that, it is your turn. What do you want to do, Conrad? It seems most of the creatures are running and scurrying away.
Alright, clarifying question. There was one goblin who was right next to Dudarin who disengaged and then moved away.
Oh shit,
Is
that's my bad. Yes, he is still right here.
Alright, I will attempt to... Is he turned the other way still? Like, is he looking back at the door or not?
No, he's running. He's getting out of here.
Okay. I'm gonna try and stealthily move up the hallway
To line a better shot.
to line up a shot. Actually check movement there. Yeah, so I can get up to about here. And that should line it up okay, right?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright. I'd like to try, like, just a disabling shot. Just want to, like, hit him in the leg, you know, slow him down.
Not kill him necessarily.
Yeah, non-lethal shot.
Okay, go for it.
Alright, and am I rolling?
Regular attack. And you do have advantage.
Oh, I do have advantage. Oh, shit. Do I have to use my sneak attack damage?
If you hit, given that you're trying to do non-lethal, I'll just have it so that you don't necessarily have to do that.
Okay, well, it's a 20.
Okay. Your shot is good enough here and well aimed that you can place it exactly where you want here. and as you scurry down the hallway and fire out a shot, your arrow passes by Dudaren's side and flies into the room before striking into the back leg of this creature, who then trips and falls to the ground. Is that your turn?
I want a bonus action. I want a bonus action dash and tuck myself in this door.
Okay. You make your way over and hide behind the side there. And, Dudaren, it's your turn.
Let me see. Distance here. I can't. I'm just gonna like confidently walk into the room.
Okay.
I'm essentially taking pity on these weak, pathetic creatures.
Okay. You step into the room striding confidently. A couple of them, while they're running, turn around, look over their shoulders, and see you approaching with your chest puffed out, looking down upon them as lesser life forms. They continue to scurry off and scream as they do. Next it is their turn, and they disappear beyond their doors into the next area. What do you guys want to do?
Are we out of combat, pseudo combat?
You are out of combat as they disappear into their different hallways. And I'm going to draw in for you another piece of the room.
Alright. Well, I want to go over and tie up this disabled
Yeah,
goblin.
also, Z posted a beautiful picture in Discord. I encourage all of you to do it.
Nice.
It's even better because I know the frame that comes before that one.
Oh man.
Okay, I've drawn in another thing there. You find yourself into the next room. Here, as you step inside, the creatures scurry off down past doors into different hallways. I should mention, however, that the one towards the south is not actually really much of a doorway at all. You can see hinges and a couple of planks that hang off of them. But like the first door that you'd gone through, this one has been decimated by the years of decay. And as the goblins run down this one, it doesn't take very long until their footsteps become silent, instead replaced by goblinoid screams and the sound of gnashing teeth, and then silence returns from that hall.
Conrad chuckles to himself.
The room here is filled with little bonfires and different things that the goblins seem to have been using for everyday life. You can see that some of the fires have like little spit roast things over top of them, whilst others seem to have a like little pile of refuse, another thing of trash. Up towards the ceiling, you can see what look like little vents and possible ways to access higher levels of the dungeon. Other than that, there's a total of 4 exits from this room, the one that you've already checked out, and the other ones that lay before you. What do you guys want to do?
I was surprised to see goblins this far down, but I suppose they were allowed to live here by the stronger beasts.
Perhaps.
I want to, after making sure that that goblin is not capable of like scratching or anything like that, probably tie a rope in his mouth too, so he can't bite me.
Okay.
Walking around.
His sharp little goblinoid teeth gnash at you as you get closer, but eventually, with your swift hands, you're able to fasten a rope and keep him from doing much more than just muffled noises, and you have successfully gotten him tied up to the point where he can't escape.
Okay.
What are you doing to that goblin?
Later, I will use him, and he will walk into rooms before me. If there is a trap, he will let us know. If there are enemies, he will let us know.
You don't
Oh,
know
you
if the
speak
goblin...
A good plan.
No. I don't speak goblin.
But do you know like hand signal? I'm not following.
The goblin like squirms around on the ground and lets out muffled noises of escape.
I'll like walk over to the goblin, like look down at him. Do you understand me?
He looks over at you and panically gives you a nod.
Oh, wow. Okay. Fair enough, Conrad.
Well, if he didn't, pain is a universal language.
He looks over to you with a look of fear, Conrad.
I look down at him with these massive black orbs and smile.
The goblin now starts to try and inch his way along on the ground, like an inchworm almost, and hurriedly makes for the nearby bonfire.
No, I pull him back with the rope.
You can see a defeated look in his eyes as you pull him and he slides across the ground and he just lays there.
So I'll kind of crouch down and look the goblin in the face. So what else is down here? Down here a while. I see. Yeah, I didn't get any of that.
Phil looks up Murlocs.
Well, if you guys don't mind waiting 10 minutes or so, you could cast a spell that allows me to understand what he's saying.
I
So
think
what was
it's more
down
the
here?
I think it's more the gag in his mouth.
Possibly.
So I mean, Conrad, I can tell that you're into some odd stuff, but do you mind if we like remove the gag?
Said
Well,
the pyro.
when we are ready to move into another room, I will take him back. But until then, you may do as you please with him. And Conrad will just walk over to the big orc or goblin and try and remove the arrow.
Okay.
When he
Make a-
walks away,
I'm gonna
go
try and
ahead.
remove the arrow from the other goblin, his leg, too.
You're gonna remove the arrow from the one who's tied up here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, make a medicine check for me.
I'm not trying to do it skill.
Oh, never mind. Okay, you pull this out. I'm gonna roll luck for you to see if the goblin passes out and dies here. Okay, he seems to survive through the pain as you pull the arrow roughly from his leg. It tears out, and the goblin screams. And when you take out his gag, he looks towards you all and speaks common to some of your surprise. And he says, "I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you everything. Just let me go."
I will like cut a strip
Please.
of cloth from one of the
Please! Oh, and you put it like that.
from one of the dead goblins and tie it around his wounded leg.
Okay. Oh, kind sir, good sir, please. I know all of this dungeon. Just let me go.
Does
Well, I
he
mean, you gotta
actually
tell us.
know all the dungeon? Or is he just trying to make it sound good?
Make an insight check, please.
It's a 14. Wait. I'm poisoned. Gotta be fair. Okay.
You
It's a
believe the goblin, and as he looks to you and tells you he knows this area, it seems that he's telling you the truth.
Good.
Pointing
Dun,
down
dun,
this way, I ask him, so what's down there?
Well, horrible things, horrible monsters. They come out, take us when we sleep. Have to keep a night watch every time. If you don't have one, they get you. They get you.
Okay, but do you know what they are?
Seen its shadow once. Flies around. Call it the one that gets you.
Describe it as best you can to me. I might know.
Shadow. It's like a long, slender thing. Moves through the air. And then, wham! It gets you.
So like a giant bat.
Sure.
Okay. Well, we're going to keep you around.
No. I won't tell you anything more unless you promise to let me go and untie me.
I don't think our friend Conrad over there would like that.
At this point, I'll go and remove the other arrow from this big goblin's eye,
Okay?
or attempt to.
Alright, you can retrieve an arrow. It seems to be more or less intact, though it needs a bit of cleaning when you pull it out.
Oh, was the first arrow good too?
So, how about you just tell us, and then we'll try and convince him? Because I don't think he's in a real good mood. He doesn't seem to be a big fan of goblins. Like,
Make a persuasion check, please.
he's so good at these.
Phil is a master of persuasion.
Master of persuasion.
Master.
of persuasion. No mods. 5.
The creature looks like it's thinking it over for a second, then goes, "What? You think I'm stupid? No, I'm not telling you anything more unless you let me go.
If you
I
don't
told you,
tell
I
us
know
any-
this dungeon through and through. I've lived here all my life."
If you don't tell us anything, there's no reason for us not to let him have his way with you. And I mean that in every
That's a
context.
good point. I mean, like, if you're not helpful, then it's like there's no reason to keep you around, you know?
My lips are sealed.
All right,
No.
I take my axe.
Wait.
He's
Always
mine.
good as monster bait.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'll put my axe back.
/ trap locator.
Are you
I
good
kinda
at locating
smile down at
traps?
the goblin.
What's that?
Oh yes.
I ask him, are you good at locating traps?
He goes,
Was that a no, yes, or I'm not talking?
The last one.
I don't think he's very good at it.
It doesn't really matter, because if he is good at finding traps, then we can see where he avoids. And if he's not good at finding traps,
Then he
well,
activates the trap.
we'll find one at least. Maybe 2 if he's lucky.
Hmm.
Well, if he's not talking, we should put the gag back on.
Sure.
Maybe he can't bite us.
I'll go back over to this trash-filled room, kind of pick through, and see if I can identify anything that would have caused this poisoning I seem to have.
Sure.
Or if there's anything in my herbalism or healer's kit that I could use to perhaps help myself.
Okay. Do you gag this goblin once again?
That's Phil's thing.
That's Phil's thing.
Phil wants nothing gagging the goblin. He's not into that shit.
Okay, so the goblin is ungagged, and wandering off, Rovian goes to check out the hallway. We will take a brief 5 or 10 minute break and return for the next set of rooms.
Wonderful.
Oh.
Go eat some food.
Right before that break, though, was there anything on the big goblin?
On the big goblin? Oh,
Yeah.
let me roll some luck for you. That's a 16. Yes, remind me to give that to you when we come back.
Alright.
Okay. Shall return in a minute here.
Oh, I stepped away. Where did Lucian go?
I return to see the terrifying pictures of Ted Cruz. Ugh. Good God. Okay, to clarify, Z, I didn't say that they don't cut it. I'm just saying that if you're gonna be a career politician, it doesn't help if you look like a butt-feasting gremlin skeleton like Ted Cruz. Right, well, I am back. Is everybody here?
I am here.
I'm here.
Waiting on Baller and Tass.
I'm here.
Waiting on Tass. Food back in queue. Alright. Have a bit longer break.
I didn't realize it like was such a hassle to set up a Discord server, like permissions wise.
Yeah, it just depends what you want to do. Here it's pretty easy because there's like 2 permissions, like you either have or you don't. So
True.
if you're gonna do like a bunch of different stuff, then it starts to become more complicated.
I'm setting up like 2 or 3. I figured I'd do that today instead of getting down the line and be like, oh, maybe this is a good idea that I should have done like a month ago.
What are we waiting on?
Waiting on Tasselin. He's eating food.
We're at my this room.
I'm staring at swords.
Yeah, what's all the sword links in the chat?
Oh, it's just me and Jimmy were looking at swords and talking about which ones we thought were cool and which ones that were. Oh, that's awesome. Because this company makes some really good stuff, like proper. You could go out and use it, sort of thing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm curious. I was scrolling through it at some point, and it was like, oh, sword,
Yeah.
sword.
There's a few of them that are a little bit like more reasonable, around like 500 to 600, but a lot of them are probably gonna run you close to like $1,000. Like, I'm in love with this one. I think it looks fucking amazing. Check that out there. But good God, I'm not a rich man. That is, it's not happening.
When you buy them from places like this, are they actually sharpened, or do they have like a blunt edge?
It's your choice. They'll come to you blunt unless you specify that you want them to sharpen it, and they'll just do that, usually for free. Depends on the company, though. Some of them will charge you, but Albion is like pretty top tier stuff. So if you're, if you're buying a Ferrari and you're asking for them to put a cup holder in it, they're probably not going to charge you. They'll just be like, yeah, sure. Some of these are gorgeous. They did a really good version of the steel sword from Skyrim as well, which is based on one that was found in it. Fuck, that looks so good. Beautiful. Have I tempted you yet? Do you feel like buying a sword relic?
Oh, dude, I've been tempted to buy a sword for I don't know how many years. This is not a new desire for me.
Okay, good.
I own a few. They just kind of sit around.
There's some really neat ones which are recreation of museum swords. That they run like an obscene amount of money, but they're really neat. This one's kind of cool. Check that out there.
Oh, reminds me, there's like a museum around here that has like a bunch of like medieval armor and swords, like on display. Spent like hours just walking around that.
Look
Yeah.
at
Demolition.
that.
If I bought one, it would definitely be something like this, where it would be functional, and I could like go out and practice with it. Like, it would have-
Functional.
yeah, well, you know, like the majority of
No,
swords.
like, yeah. I'm
you
just
know
like,
what I mean.
yeah, I know what you mean, but
Not 'cause I intend to go kill people or anything, but
no.
it'd be really cool to have something that I don't have to worry about swinging and having it break, because it's meant to just kind of sit on your wall, you know?
Yeah. You don't want something that's just there.
Is that wrapping metal or is it just
Hmm?
the wrapping around the handle? It looks
Depends on which
metal.
one.
The one you just posted, the Savante.
Oh, I don't know. It'll probably specify.
It looks like it is, but it could just be just some really well maintained leather.
Yeah, it's
Oh, if
leather.
I actually like, is it? Wow, that is. It does not look like it. Just the scabbard is $2,000.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these are pretty pricey. This is like some of the upper end stuff for swords. You can find other ones that are functional and you don't have to worry about them breaking or anything like that, but they're not nearly as nice.
If I was gonna pay like a shit ton of money for a sword that I couldn't use, I'd get one of one of those Man at Arms anime swords.
That you couldn't use?
Well, actually no, there's can be used. They're actually functional.
I don't know, something about that
Practical.
sentence just like put me into a state of confusion.
I'm not even trying to think anymore. I'm tired of shit.
Oh my.
Oh, did that come from Taslin's mic?
That's expensive, but a nice looking one.
Check that out.
Alright, apologies for the delay.
Oh my god, that's so... Yeah, that's my favorite out of the museum lineup. It's a lot of sword, though, like 46...
Oh, it's a ton of sword, but it looks clean.
46 inches, it's a lot of sword.
I like that pommel.
Yeah, the palm's gorgeous.
Mhm.
Everything about it's gorgeous. All the lines and everything. Okay, Paslin is back. We've braked long enough. Let's get back to it. Everyone's here.
Yep. Red 5 standing by.
Red guy standing by.
Fire guy standing by.
Oh my god, Relic!
Hero guy standing by.
Jesus
See what you
Christ.
did, Relic. See what you fucking did.
Did you see what I did there? Did you see it?
I had higher expectations.
Did you
Okay.
really though?
Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, of course, dude. I see all of you folks here have returned. You find yourselves in the dungeon. A couple of things were happening. Rovian, you were searching around. I'd like you to go ahead and make for me an investigation check. And
Alright.
Conrad, as you sift throughout the creature here, I had done your luck roll, and you do happen to find something on him. You find on this goblin that there are a couple of pieces of gold, 7 of them to be exact, in a little purse that he keeps attached to a belt. But perhaps more importantly, attached to one of the loops on the belt, you find what looks to be a rather large steel key. It's about 4 inches from one end to the other and has like very pronounced portions of it which are to activate the tumblers in some sort of presumably large lock.
Good find.
Okay, so you can add that to your inventory. Meanwhile, what did you roll there, Rovian?
15.
Okay. Sifting about in the rubble here, you eventually find something that might possibly be a clue. Within all the burnt wreckage, some items have survived, mostly those of metal and rock, things of stone. But you also find a couple of potion vials, which are here. Their tops have long been burned off, but remnants of their glass remains are still here. It could be that something alchemical was in that fire. though the contents are long gone. As you go to read the bottles to see if any of them have clues, you find them devoid of such clues.
Alright. Oh. Don't know anything else on how to get rid of this. Other than if I can make any sort of guess on like a general antidote from healer's kit or herbalism kit.
Okay.
I don't know.
Your healer's kit contains, it's more or less like a surgery kit, like a little battle triage doohickey.
Yep.
It doesn't have anything that would really help for a cough, unfortunately. There's no Robitussin in there.
The herbalism kit, the same way?
Yes, the herbalism kit has plenty of stuff for rendering down ingredients and things like that, but no pre-made medicine hanging around.
Got it. Alright, well, it's that then.
What do you guys want to do? You have in tow, I'll make a little token for him. We'll use the proper gobbo one this time. Thank you, Relic. And there we go. On the ground, all tied up, being brought in tow. No longer gagged, though it appears he doesn't wish to talk. This goblin is here with you as well. What do you guys want to do?
I want
Re-gag
to
him.
look down at the goblin and say, "Sure, you do not wish to tell me what I want."
He says to you, like I said, you let me go, I'll tell you.
You're not going to smoke.
Where do you want to go?
Any way from here.
What? I mean, yeah, but like, which way would you go?
He looks over at you and pauses for a second. He says, "You're trying to trick me! Ah!" And then he just seals up once again and says nothing.
I grab him by the leg and press my finger into his arrow wound.
He screams out in pain as you do this.
That wasn't very nice.
I'll release him.
Okay. Falls back to the ground here and tries to scurry away from you, but he doesn't get more than a foot since he's all tied up.
Still have nothing to say.
The creature says nothing.
Very well. Come, and I'll pull him along with a little rope.
Okay. Where are you guys going? There are 3 ways to go. A doorway to the north, a doorway to the east, and an open hallway down towards the south.
Well, it appears the south hallway is host to some sort of dangers.
Yes, let's go north.
Alright.
I'll kind of look down and see the goblin's reaction when we say we're going north.
Okay. Go ahead and make an insight check for me. So you look at the goblin here.
9.
9. Staring at the goblin, it's difficult to discern what his reaction is. As you guys kind of drag him along here, though, he looks like he's not pleased.
Okay. Does it look fearful or just not pleased?
Not pleased. If he is fearful, it could be that he's hiding it, or that it's difficult for you to really read his emotions.
Alright, so we're going towards door down here.
Yeah. Do we have a doorway or
Certainly do.
a map? Alright.
Nice.
You find yourselves in front of a doorway here. The door looks to be in better shape than some of the rest of them around here, but it clearly has decayed a little bit as well, though it still seems to be fairly sturdy.
Is it closed?
It is. Creatures have ran past it and closed the door behind them. There's a handle there on the right-hand side.
You, goblin, open the door.
He looks to you. Have you bound his hands?
Yep.
Yeah? Okay. He nudges his way along here, getting himself onto his feet, and hops over towards the door, and then just kind of bumps against it. And you see that the door kind of like nudges open a little bit, revealing a hallway.
I'll push it open with Mage Hand.
Okay. The door opens fully now with your magical hand there pushing it the rest of the way, and you can see a hallway that leads up to another door. This door looks familiar in that it has decayed to some degree, but remains sturdy.
Goblin, walk.
Okay. The goblin continues to travel north and hobbles down the hallway, eventually getting towards the door.
As he's hobbling, I was like 5 or 10 feet behind him, and I'll be searching for traps.
Okay. The hallway is empty, and as you look around for traps, I'd like you to make an investigation check. Whew. The hall is devoid of any traps, and as you inspect between the cobblestones and look as carefully as you can, you don't see anything like a hidden dart trap or maybe a raised piece of stone that might activate a trap door. It looks like a regular hallway leading up to the door. As you inspect, you see that there is a little bit of blood on the handle of the door, and as you check that, you don't find any traps either. Perhaps it was like a wounded goblin that made its way through here or something.
Like really fresh blood or blood?
Ah, with their investigation check, we'll say that you'll know. Looking at it, the blood looks old.
You, goblin, you go into this room first unless you tell me what's inside.
I'd like you to make an intimidation check.
Sure.
What is that?
An 8.
8. He tells you nothing. Looks at you and just stops there dead in his tracks in front of the doorway and simply just kind of bounces away from it and stands by the wall.
Whatever, goblin, it's your decision.
I will grab the goblin by the nape of his neck,
Okay?
open the door, and throw him inside.
Okay. Now, the goblin, if I'm not mistaken, I'm picturing him here tied up, and there's a piece of rope that goes from him to to Conrad's hands, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, when this is tossed, are you going to hold on to this?
Yep.
Okay. You,
Some slack, right?
you throw the goblin past here, opening the door only momentarily to shuttle him through. He doesn't weigh particularly much, and you're a strong guy, so this isn't really difficult. And when you open the door, you find that it most certainly is not empty. On the other side, standing in like little rows of soldiers, are goblins, as well as slightly larger creatures there that look better armed. There's a brief moment where you open the door and throw the goblin into towards the other side, and quickly close the door, and after that are greeted to the sound of what must be like little javelins and arrows hitting against the other side of the door, and the squeal of your goblinoid friend.
Well,
Good
Did
plan.
we get a peek at their numbers?
Ah. I would like all of you to roll a perception check during the brief moment where the door opened a little bit.
Well, it worked out for one of us.
that is a 17.
Darren's getting all the perception rolls today. Got 20 before that. As you peeked inside, opening it momentarily to throw the creature in, you got a brief look at the numbers. You think there's roughly about 24 of them, and maybe a handful are actually the larger members.
So we got about 20 or so goblins in there.
Yes.
I'm
There's
telling
a
you.
pitter patter of all these things hitting the door, and then the sound kind of dies out as it stops.
They will be reloading again.
Yeah. Perhaps we just go somewhere else now. Come back. The other rooms are
Good.
less desired.
Well, they're weak creatures. There was that huge room full of them, and they all just ran away.
How long is this hallway?
The hall is about the same length as the last one you went through.
Okay, not real long. Well, we can always just stand on the other side of the hallway and take pot shots at them.
I
Of course,
suppose
they'll clear out immediately, but
it may do. I'll combat roll and stealth into the darkness.
Okay. Whoosh, Dark Souls roll, and you're gone.
I'll draw my axe. It's like, just tell me when, and I'll kick the door open.
I suppose that'll work too. I'll kind of like move over to the side of the hallway by the door, so I'm not in view of the room.
Okay.
Yeah, can we get it drawn in at this point?
Yeah.
Now, where would the light from Phil stop cast in the hallway?
If I remember correctly, continual flame is 20 by 20.
It's whatever torch is. So
Yeah, so 20/20. So a total of 4 squares out from him. Or sorry, 8 squares out. 4 being good light, and then another 4 of dim. And yeah, this would be the doorway
And I
to the other room.
I have 16 range with my bow, right?
Yes.
80? Yeah.
Alright, so I can be like right here. Be in the shadow still.
Okay.
I will ready a firebolt.
I will knock an
First off,
arrow.
Okay. It's up to you guys what you want to do, how to handle this.
Ready when you are,
I
Fillion.
all right.
Is that where you want to be standing?
How much does the door open into the other room or into the hallway?
It opens into the other room.
Okay. Where's the hinge on? This side or the other side?
Left side.
Side. All right. I'm gonna hide on the side with the hinge. No, other side. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, when everyone's in place, I'll kick the door in and jump to the side.
Okay. The door flies open, and you're already ready for the first volley. As you step to the side, little javelins and arrows fly through the way here and clatter into the hallway. Some of them get close to Conrad as they roll on the floor, but no one's actually struck by them. And a creature calls out towards you, a voice speaking common. It says, "Who goes there?"
Y'all
My name is
do.
Phil.
Hi, my name's Jim.
I'm dead.
Phil, what do you do in our lands?
What's your name?
Phil, I asked you a question.
Well, I mean, it's polite to exchange names before you converse. At least where I'm from, that's the case. I mean, I don't know what kind of land this is.
So be it. My name is Yavark of the Goblins of the Deep.
Nice to meet you, Yavark. It's a nice little, dungeon place you got here.
These lands belong to us and have for years. You intruders have already killed some of my men. I'm willing to look the other way if you will leave and retreat immediately.
I mean, to be fair, they tried to kill us first.
It was what they were told to do. These sniveling runts can't take orders that are more complex than that. But understand that I will let you go and will not have them attack you now that they're in the room and under my control. I have the numbers, Phil.
I believe you. I'm trying to come to an accommodation here. I heard from the friend that we sent in before that there's like some weird what was it called? The thing that gets you?
The one that gets you, yes. Down to the south. We don't travel those halls.
So, like, how about we come to a bit of a deal here? We go kill the thing that gets you. And, you know, good for you, great for us, everybody's happy, and then you let us finish exploring, you know, down here.
Is that what you're after? Exploration?
I kind of look around to the rest of the party.
Magical things.
Yeah, and magical things. You know, if there's like magic things down here.
What kind of magical things?
Fucking bark.
Let's
The
just shoot 'em.
magically inclined kind.
And anything with the crest on it. You have the
Oh,
paper.
and we're looking for things with like a crest, with like a grapevine, like a dagger under it.
Very
Yeah,
well,
kind of a
Phil.
bit of interesting stuff.
I accept your proposal. I will keep these goblins from falling upon your group while you travel, and in return you'll present to me the body of the one that gets you. How does that sound?
I reach my hand around the doorway as if to shake.
What's that?
Like still hiding the majority of my body on the other side of the door. I kind of reach around as if to shake his hand.
Okay. You extend your hand there, and a voice calls out and says, "Don't shoot! You fucking idiots." There's a couple of steps towards the door, but it doesn't come anywhere close. And from your hearing, you think it's probably like still another 20 or 30 feet away. And the voice calls out, the same one from before, and says, "Very well, Phil. We accept."
At this point, I kind of peek my head around the side of the door a little bit.
Okay. You see standing in front of you what looks to be a group of goblins all spread out, but closest is another creature that is roughly about the same height as you and wears a set of armor and has proper weapons, and in tow, like its bodyguard group, are a couple others like that, which also look very well armed. And I would like you to go ahead and roll for me. What do you have for intelligence?
18.
Sorry, I mean the proficiency skills.
Arcana, history, investigation.
Roll history. Ah, okay.
Modded 20.
You know that these are hobgoblins that are standing in front of you. The more powerful variant that generally holds sway over the goblinoid hordes and tend to form the upper ranks and commanders. They're much more intelligent than the other kind, and where there are large groups of goblins, there's usually a hobgoblin somewhere nearby. It appears this is the one that's speaking to you. As you poke your head out, he looks towards you. There's a look of malice in his eyes as he looks towards you, but at the same time, he doesn't have his weapons drawn, and instead has both of his swords in their scabbards. And he looks and says, "I accept, Phil."
Can we shake on it?
Now I must ask you, Phil, do you intend to accost this man when he shakes his hand?
What do you mean it cost him? Like,
cast some sort of spell or anything on him, or pull
no.
him into the room, or
No,
no? You just want to shake? Okay.
give him a nice firm handshake.
A persuasion check, please.
I'm not very good at these, but I was almost an 18.
What did you get?
That was a 6.
Nick, what the fuck?
The creature pulls out one of its blades, but with a free hand extends to handshake and begins to travel towards you ever so slowly. He's very guarded.
Okay,
Next, he
I'll
can-
slowly sort of make my way away from the door and slowly walk towards him, meeting him halfway.
Okay. As you step into the room, you're able to see all of its contents. It's like a little rectangular shaped room here that goes like this. And in it, you see a similar thing, different bonfires and stuff like that, though here, it's clearly much nicer than in the other room. And as you step up, you eventually shake hands with this creature that nods towards you, and then when the handshake is done, it steps back, still with its weapon in hand.
All right, well, we'll see you in a bit. I just turn and head back.
Alright, do you close the door behind you?
I do.
Okay.
Politely, you know.
Yeah. Slam!
Destroy your doors.
Yeah, exactly. It just explodes anyway. Alright. Phil returns to the rest of you. What do you guys want to do?
So we got a big
That'll
spooky
work.
thing to kill.
Very well.
Yeah, it had to be done eventually. Let us go and see what these two do.
Say, Phil, you don't mind asking your friend if he knows anything else about this thing that gets you?
Oh, yeah.
Any sort of description, maybe?
I walk back to the door and I like knock. I'm like, hey, it's Phil again. You still there?
What is it?
Is there anything you can tell us about the thing that gets you that might be helpful? Since we're gonna go and kill it and everything.
The runts say it shows up when the fires are low. Keep them burning throughout the days when we can. When the lights are out, that's when they show up. That's when they gets you. That's all
Got
I can
it.
tell you.
Got it. All right.
You hear sneers and snickers that come from the other room.
All right. I'll walk away from the door. I'll see you later then.
Goodbye, Phil. Stepping back, you guys make your way into the normal room here. What do you want to do?
Heading towards, I believe it was the south passage that had the screams before.
You get closer towards the south passage, and here you find that broken down door, extending down a hallway, which is longer than the other ones that you've seen, about twice as much. There is a interesting sight. This hall is not actually just cobbled stone on the sides. Instead, you find recesses, both on the left and the right, usually a couple of rows stacked upon one another, where graves lie. There are dead bodies here, skeletons, and wrapped corpses that have long rested here in these little alcoves, and it extends like that for a while. You can tell that at the very end of the hallway, let's see here, what's the best you guys have for dark vision?
Don't.
Nobody?
Normal vision.
Normal vision.
Yep.
Okay.
I think we are we all human right now?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So
I
you
think
can
so,
only
yeah.
see like a little bit in there what your hat will allow, and that shows you that this hall is like just graves in the side of the hallway here in the door.
I will
They call
extend
this
my
place
torch
a mine.
30 feet down the hallway using mage hand. And
Okay.
get a better view of what's going on.
The torch goes further down and gives you a little bit of a view into an intersection further up ahead, where it seemingly breaks off and goes left and right. As the torch continues to hover further and further, it just shows you graves and graves and graves, all built into the walls.
Do you all mind if we stop here for once?
Sure.
I don't mind.
What for?
I will kind of bend down and start doing the ritual for detect magic. We are looking for magical things, are we not? This looks like a hallway rife with and probably traps. And I kind of like give a glance over at Conrad.
Okay. So you're gonna wait and spend 10 minutes hanging out here?
Yeah, I will also begin to ritual cast detect magic.
Okay.
Nice.
The 10 minutes that pass are relatively uneventful. There's nothing that comes from the north, nor does anything happen over towards the east, nor the west. But while you're waiting here, you note that this hallway, this catacomb, this graveyard is silent, and nothing seems to come from it either. Eventually, you finish up, and your detect magic is done.
All right. I will.
Do we detect anything from the doorway?
No, you don't.
Just thought of something. We should probably check the way we came too. There's a lot of garbage down that way. Perhaps there's something in there. So I'll take like the 30 seconds it takes to walk back down to the hallway to the west here. And then kind of do a circuit around the room before coming back. Do I sense anything?
Okay. As you pass through the hall, you find that there isn't anything magical there.
Okay. Alright, come back. Alright, we're all good. Conrad, I believe this is your area of expertise.
It appears Conrad gives no fucks.
What am I looking for?
Anything
Big
that
spooky
might
thing
kill
that'll
us.
eat you.
A big spooky thing that will eat me. Okay.
Traps as well. Only complicate matters. Take a fight.
I begin looking for traps with the secondary objective of finding a big spooky thing that will eat me.
Okay. Conrad, you begin to travel into the hall here. Do you have a light source?
He has a torch floating above his head. Mage hand. Where I'm 30 feet behind.
Do you have your own light source, Conrad?
No.
Okay. So as you go further in here, a floating torch nearby gives you the light to kind of see around. And I'd like you to make an investigation check as you go in.
26.
Okay. You see the footprints on the ground. This hallway is rather dusty, and there is little survival know-how that you would need to notice this. As you stare down, you can see the little pitter-patter of goblin feet that go up roughly about to the intersection there, and then they vanish. They don't turn off into a different area or anything like that. They just stop. Meanwhile, as you look through the different alcoves, you find that not all of these bodies here are left alone, and that some of them indeed seem to have been left with little bits of riches and things like that. You find jewelry and daggers and things like that, which have been left, little toys and baubles, which have been accompanying the dead for many years. You wish to take them?
No.
Okay. Eventually, are you going to follow behind in 30 feet, Rovian?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Eventually, you get to the point where you're very close to the intersection. And you guys are following with Rovian, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What do you want to do, Conrad? You're up at the front here, and you can see that off, straight ahead, the hallway continues to go for a little bit. And then to your left and to your right, there are similar hallways, which also have these little alcoves where dead bodies have been laying for a long, long time.
I want to look up.
Okay. As you look up, you see that there is a curious thing above you. It looks like some sort of creature that has long tendrils that stretch over the roof of this area, and it waits there.
Mm,
What the fuck, dude? Oh man. Okay. I'm sorry. I was just thinking to myself, what if I didn't look up?
Always look up. Good to know.
The creature lies in wait, almost like a spider at the center of its web. Here, its tendrils all splay out over the top portion of this little intersection. It's impossible to see what is at the center of its form, as it's fairly hidden here in the darkness, and the tendrils actually kind of come out from its own little alcove, like there's a little hole in the ceiling from which it's tucked. But all these tendrils kind of hang there and lie in wait. What do you want to do?
I don't know. Do I what? That's what this might.
Sorry, what's that?
Do I recognize what this thing might be, or
Do you have
If it's
proficiency in
or
nature
not?
or survival?
I have proficiency in Arcana.
Ah, okay. Unfortunately, no. You're not sure what this creature is.
would proficiency arcana or history help?
Would proficiency anything help?
Nature or survival would help. But you guys can't quite see this thing from where you are here.
Okay. What do you see, Conrad?
I motion for him to shut the fuck up.
You give him the
I will
universal
lie.
shut the fuck up motion.
Lean over to Rovian. What's he motioning?
Telling me to shut up. Don't you know that's the universal shut up motion?
I'd like you to make a perception check for me, please, Conrad.
See if the thing's fucking moving down towards. 15.
Okay. As you turn back for a brief moment to give a motion to Rovian to get him to shush, you turn back and look back towards the ceiling to find that all of the tendrils are now gone.
I begin backing towards the party, and I ready an arrow,
Okay.
and I call out. There was a thing with. How big roughly were the tendrils? Could I piece that together?
The tendrils were pretty long, extending for maybe about 7 feet at their longest.
A creature with 7-foot tendrils lurks in the ceiling. Cautious. Gone.
Thinking, do I recognize this description?
Do you have proficiency in nature or survival?
I have proficiency nature.
Okay, go ahead and give that a roll. See if it rings a bell.
Nope.
Nice.
It's a 9.
You're familiar with a few different creatures that have different types of tentacles and appendages like that, but you can't quite place it. You're not sure what that would be.
Must be the thing that gets you.
This guy gets it.
Most likely.
I think you're right.
Alright. Oh,
Perhaps if
Let
we
us-
continue moving into this area, we can draw the creature out. However,
most likely.
leave it do there, and we should be going first at this point.
I look over at Judarn.
Well, I'm by far the strongest of us.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Maybe.
Are there any sconces for torches in this hallway at all?
Ah, you can see sconces, but they're empty.
Okay. I will rest my burning torch in one of these sconces so it'll illuminate as much of the hallway as possible.
Okay.
And then pull out another one.
Alright.
So I have 10. And I will light that one as well. start
Okay,
kind of
just
moving
start
down
filling the hallway with light.
Yeah, every 30 feet or so.
Okay, so it takes you roughly about 4 torches to completely light up the area right to where you get to the intersection. So you still have 6 of them
Okay.
left. Now, at this intersection, you can go further if you wish, but obviously that's up to you.
Yeah, no. I will hold a torch up near the ceiling with Mage Hand to see if I can see anything, since he did mention it was up there.
The torch hovers closer towards the ceiling and reveals a hole, perhaps some damage in the stonework. There is a gaping area here, past which you're not sure what you would find. The crevice is quite dark, and from your angle, it's difficult to see much with your torch further into it.
Alright. Dudan, Conrad.
I will sprint across the intersection.
Okay. You quickly run across the intersection, Conrad, and safely make it past there, too. No tendrils come from anywhere to grab you. You find yourself over in a dark hallway straight ahead from your group.
I will take out my hooded lantern.
I'll just walk across the intersection.
Alright. Well, I'll be
Put
able to
yourselves
cross.
where you want to be. Okay. You begin to travel across, too.
I'll
Do you
just.
see anything up in that hole?
Where's the hole?
The hole
Great.
is towards the center of the ceiling, like right about here.
Okay.
Just gonna stand directly under it and look up.
It's like 20 feet up, and as you stare into it, you can see the light that comes from both the torches that your group has with you and the flames from your magical hat. And inside, you can see that it looks like some sort of a hole, like a compartment maybe, but because you can't quite tell where it goes, you don't know if it's like a tunnel that leads off. Like you can't quite see the entire dimensions of the hole here.
Can I move the torch up into the hole?
Sure. Your torch disappears past into the crevice of the hole here, and its light allows you to get like a better detailed version of the walls inside, but from your angle it's still impossible to tell if it really cranes off anywhere else. Nothing molests your torch as it's placed into the hole there.
Hmm. Could I attempt to climb up there?
You could, yeah. Do you want to?
Yes, I do.
There are Gothic archways that kind of lead up towards that area, and you could use them as handholds to try and get up. Make an acrobatics check for me. Conrad,
Hold on.
there's no time to hold on.
Okay. An acrobatics check.
Please.
What'd I get?
A 6.
That is a 12.
Okay. It's a little difficult, and multiple times you pause to see whether or not the stonework is going to hold up, but eventually you are pretty close towards it and able to sort of shimmy and swing your legs into the hole here if you want and try and get up into it. Do you want to go for it?
Does it look like the flame is like steady, or does it look like something might be moving the flame?
No, the flame looks steady. It seems like maybe the area doesn't have a lot of air because the flames have died down a little bit, but it just hangs there steadily, held by a spectral hand.
Make sure it's out of his way.
I don't want to go in the legs first, though. I'll attempt to kind of like jump and grab it with my hands.
Sure, okay. Make another acrobatics check for me then. Here goes the leap.
It is
21.
Much better. You reposition yourself, deciding that maybe it'll be better to go with the top half of you first, and you leap off from this little like handhold here, and manage to grab onto the top and pull yourself up into it. As you do so, you're able to see what looks to be a little tunnel that goes from this hole here and travels horizontally somewhere else. It's a little cave area, the kind that would inhibit anyone in heavy armor from traveling through here because of how cramped and small it is. And I want you to make a perception check.
Oh, it's a tiny tunnel, so like
Yeah.
this couldn't be a large creature.
Yeah, like a human in heavy armor would have trouble going through it.
Okay.
So
An
the
18.
creature's likely smaller. 18. Off down that passageway, you see tendrils that are receding and disappearing around the tunnel corner.
Is there time to take a shot?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Make an attack,
Regular attack roll?
please.
21.
You hit the creature. Go ahead and roll damage. You do not get the sneak attack deeps.
9 damage.
Your arrow flies out. You make a quick snapshot here, and it shoots down the tunnel, striking one of the tendrils, which quickly lashes about. And you hear what sounds like some sort of strange screech. Everybody else hears like a muffled noise. And the tendrils quickly recede and disappear from view, taking with it the arrowhead that is lodged in one of the tentacles.
It doesn't turn around, just keeps going.
Yep, it has disappeared from view.
Okay.
The tunnel seems to have gone in this direction, I should mention.
Okay. I will now at this point I will stow my bow
Okay.
and position myself dropping out of the tunnel head first to grab a handhold and then swing around to drop back, scale the wall.
Okay. You've navigated this area before and deftly kind of swing over, and eventually you're hanging from the roof and able to get down.
It is some type of creature with tentacles, some such. It is fairly small though. The tunnel up there could not have borne through there. And furthermore, I have struck it with an arrow. Appears it is vulnerable, or not, perhaps not vulnerable, but it is a being of this plane, not an ethereal.
Good to know. Where did this tunnel lead?
I'll point out the direction that it led off in.
Hmm. Probably
Start walking
this
that
direction
direction.
then.
Phil's taking off. Alright.
Okay.
Well, I will combat roll into the dim light, or not just outside the dim light, and move stealthily after them.
Okay.
I will leave this torch up here, and then take out another one. 5 left.
The
And
hall
open it.
ends at a small room here on the side. As you go ahead and recollect your torches, your group finds itself in front of an old doorway. And once again, Phil, you see the tattered remains of this wooden door, which could easily be dismantled with but the lightest of force.
Oh.
Okay. Taking a step and then double thinking about it.
Okay.
Do I see any traps?
Ah. Make for me an investigation check.
Alright, while they're moving up towards the door, I'm gonna keep my eyes on the hole.
Okay.
And the path
That is a
of
12.
Alright. As you look around, you don't see any traps. And that's when it happens. Something quickly moves in your direction. Does a... Oh, wow.
Does a nat 20 hit? Yeah, I think so.
Does a 9 hit?
Not me.
As you step forward, you feel a rush of air and turn to your side to see what it is, to see a tentacle receding past what looks to be one of the dead bodies that lays here in the alcove. A whole bunch of other tentacles here, like sort of holding the dead body as though it were some sort of plaything. And having missed its strike here, all the other ones begin to recede.
Where are they receding from? There's
right here.
Okay.
You watch as they go into some of the stone here, as though there must be another hole here as well. Thankfully, the tentacle has missed you.
I'll kind of lean down a little bit and kind of try to look through the hole.
You're able to see with the dim light from your hat as the different tentacles recede back into the area and disappear from view.
Wasn't very nice.
Step over. Pushing this body away, kind of making it fall off your mage hand. Does it reveal like a hole back here or something? / how large is it?
So, here there is a dead body that lays down, and behind the body there's a hole here.
Okay.
The dead body can be moved, not with your mage hand because it's far too
Yeah.
heavy, but it
Yeah.
looks like it's desiccated and could be nudged off of this resting place if you want.
Sure. I'll go ahead and carefully move it down this way.
Okay. Grab a hold of the dead body and remove it from its area here, revealing a flat slab of stone where it has been resting, and a hole that kind of snakes up and to the right.
Oh, speaking of, did we sense anything magical as we came down?
No.
Okay, good to know.
Leaning down, looking at the body. Do I get anything out of it? Is it human? Has it been dead for like, a year,
Ah.
a couple of weeks?
It is unmistakably the body of a human, and is quite old. It's been reduced down to a skeleton with little bits of like dried flesh on certain parts.
Looking back at the hole, it's over here. I guess it's out of range of the light.
Yeah, you cannot see that.
Okay.
I did leave a torch right up here. I didn't collect the torches, is what I was saying. I have 5.
Yeah.
So I've left a torch right here. It should be shining.
The ceiling over here is raised up from over here, so it's kind of like a raised area that you can't quite see into from where you are.
Okay.
But looking back towards the intersection, which is now lit, you don't see any tentacles or anything like that.
Okay. I'll walk up to the door and
Okay.
knock with my quarterstaff.
Your light knot is a destructive force that sends the door flying into a bunch of different pieces. They scatter about the way here, revealing a small room about yay big. In the room, lit by your hat, you can see a tomb lays in front of you. A stone sarcophagus, a very large one. And at its foot, you can see little bits of pottery and things like that, and little decorative pieces and whatnot. It looks like the grave of somebody who's had many wealthy admirers left at it. And on the grave here, facing towards you, you can see something. The Verwindihun seal.
On the grave itself.
Yes, etched into the stonework, facing directly towards the door, which seems to have been positioned straight away, so that like when you come through here, it's the first thing you see directly in front of you.
Okay.
All about the room, you can see more little alcoves with dead bodies. They're all over the walls and all throughout here and everything like that.
Now to clarify our mission from the what's their name again?
From the different nobles of this town, is to bring back magical items that have the Verwindihun seal on it. And
Okay.
if possible, to clear out levels of the dungeon.
Nothing about preserving the sanctity of the graves of the
Nope, the Verwindihun
Got
family
it.
is long dead, and the nobles of this town just want their riches. They're just after their estate. You're basically plundering through their old house, like a complex underneath it that they had no idea existed. Yeah, they just want their goodies.
They want the goodies. They want the goodies with the seal on it. Everything else is ours.
Speaking of goodies, some of these offerings in front of the area here are rather nice, and you can see that like chief among them, because most of this is like little pottery bits which probably had old flowers in it and whatnot. There's a little like golden box that lays in front of the dead.
I'll kind of like lean in through the hole I made and just like look left, look right, see if there's anything of note.
Sure, make a perception check for me.
That is 16.
Looking around, there are many dead here as well, and some of their graves have little decorations by them as well, but otherwise, that's about it.
Kind of turning back to my party. Yeah, I found one of those seals that we're looking for.
Is there anything magical?
Is my detect magic spell still going?
Your detect magic spell is still going, and it gives you 30 feet, right?
Oh, right.
So, right now, yes, you can feel that there is something magical from within here. And you sense a evocation magic that emanates from within the grave.
Oh. That's me. Sort of inch in as I feel evocation magic.
I'm gonna shove a torch down this.
You travel
Awesome.
further in here, and as you do, Phil, something lashes out towards you. Does a 21 hit?
It may.
Okay. Let's see here. Being struck, you suddenly take a total of 7 damage as something pierces into the side of your neck. I need a Constitution saving throw from you, please.
Do I see this happen?
Oh boy.
From the doorway here, yes.
That is a nat
Oh.
1.
A nat 1. Okay. You are poisoned as this thing stabs into you, and suddenly something else happens. You fall into a deep paralysis, and your body almost instantly freezes up. You have but a brief moment to reach over and feel your neck, and then everything begins to tense, and you stop being able to move. At this point, you feel something wrap around your neck. You can see over here as well, Dudarin, there's a tentacle that's wrapping around his neck here, and a bunch of other ones begin to wrap around your body and pull you as well. And Phil gets shuffled off to the side here.
When I see this, I like scream out, "Shit! You two get over here!"
Alright. Running this direction.
Okay. Phil, you're unable to resist, but you can still feel the sensation and kind of see as your eyes stare further in towards the room. There's something like wrapping around your neck and your arm and your torso, and you're being shuffled along and are brought over eventually towards one of the dead here. And you can feel something near like the back of your neck, which is unsettling but undescribable at the same time. What are you guys in the hallway doing? You two have talked and moved. Conrad, what are you up to?
Still just, checking out behind us, I guess.
Making sure it's not behind the group.
Yeah, I'd keep moving just outside of that dim light.
Okay.
Alright. Dudan, are you running into the room or?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm running in there.
I guess the is hiding.
Okay.
Out the door.
In which case, I am following kind of this direction. To get a
Has
spot.
anybody called out and said that something's going on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. I'll
Okay.
combat roll in there then.
Okay.
Rape
As you guys
down.
get inside, you can see what looks like Phil's body being lifted off the ground and shuffled past an already dead corpse which lays here in one of the alcoves. However, there are a whole bunch of tentacles that are wrapped around him and are moving him into the area. There's an alcove right here, which he is being shuffled into.
Oh, I'll take a
Get
shot
him.
at one of the tentacles.
Okay.
Yeah, I will as well.
Right.
I want to rush and just slash at it.
Okay, sounds good. So you guys all go for it. Make your attacks, please.
Ooh, that's
There it
a
is.
I like that one.
That's a good one
good
right
one.
there.
That is a 21.
It's a 15 for me.
Okay. A 21, a 15, and a...
20, a nat 20.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I didn't know if that was like the 21 or something. go ahead and roll all of your damages. None of you missed.
Okay.
Cool.
I want to hit the one that's got him by the neck without like piercing it and hitting him in the... I assume my nat 20 gives me god fucking Mark Wahlberg sniper levels, yeah?
Yeah, you're not going to accidentally hit him.
Alright. Whopping 14 damage.
Okay.
13 for me.
13,
6 for
14,
me.
and 6 for you. Okay. Attacking the creature here, the tentacles are suddenly struck by your different attacks. One of them is cut by your axe swing, Dudairn. Another one around his neck is shot by a well-placed arrow. A little, was it a firebolt you're shooting there, Rovian?
Firebolt. Yep.
Okay. Strikes. And all of the tentacles suddenly release and let go as Phil's body here, still kind of stuck and unable to move, tumbles and falls down to the ground.
Can I make any sound, or am I completely paralyzed?
You are completely paralyzed.
Oh shit.
Do
Can
my
I-
eyes still work?
Your eyes still work, so you're staring at the floor.
Nice.
Can I, like, when it lets go,
No.
can I attempt to, like, catch him?
Sure. You are able to catch Phil before he hits the ground and possibly smashes his head on the stone. All of the tentacles look like they're trying to recede off into a hole here.
I want to run and like use Dudairn and Phil's combined weight to like swing myself towards the hole and attempt to like grab or block, pin one of the tentacles to the wall maybe.
I am going to throw a hypnotic pattern in there.
Okay, I guess I want to do that after that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck you just threw, but do that after.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw this in here as far as I can see. Just
Okay, what's the save? Excuse me?
the save is he rolls a 2. Because Divination Wizard.
Okay. Let's see here.
What? What is a divination
So-
wizard?
Divination Wizard, at the beginning of the day, I rolled 2d20, and I can replace any d20 roll with any enemy or ally with that roll before the roll is made.
Fuck.
So what is the effect of that?
The
Incapacitated?
effect is, yes, is incapacitated. It takes damage or until someone uses an action to wake it up.
Okay, give me 2 seconds here.
It is, however, a charm effect. If it is immune to charm, it is immune to the spell.
That's really
Okay. You cast out the spell and use your divination magic here, but nothing seems to happen as the tentacles pull away into the hole.
I'll go and try and slam a dagger. I'll do my momentum swing off of these two into a dive into the hole and try and pin a tentacle with a dagger.
Okay, make your attack.
Oh boy.
Oh.
A 16? Was
16
that almost
hits.
a 1? Is that what's on the other side of that?
Roll damage.
Alrighty. Dagger is a 4.
Okay.
Whopping 4 damage.
You stab down, and the creature continues trying to get away from you. I want you to contest it. Make an athletics check, and we'll see if it's able to get away from you.
I'm super good at this.
You need to beat a 12. What did you get?
Oh, I beat a 12 with a 13!
Oh. As you pin down, the thing squirms and tries to scurry away from you here. Its long tentacles disappear off into the darkness around a corner here. It flails and flails around, but it can't seem to get away from you. As it does, the tentacle threatens to break and cut through, like the dagger here, and escape. What do you guys want to do? It seems that your pattern has failed on it, and the pinning is a very temporary thing as the beast threatens to get away at any moment.
Grab
Dudair,
it,
you are
hero.
holding Phil in your hands.
I will,
Drop him.
Throw him across the room.
I will let go of Phil and try and grab onto the shadow tentacle.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and make your attempt to grapple it. An athletics check, please.
Maybe advantage because I got it pinned already.
That's a 19.
Okay.
Maybe not.
You manage to hold onto another one of the tentacles. Now the thing flails like even more violently. You feel that you might be able to pull it out of the hole, actually.
I will try to.
Okay.
All right.
It takes a moment, and then you overpower the creature, and it nudges you out of the way here, Conrad. Your blade comes free, and Dudarin manages to pull the whole thing out into the area. It is...
Pull out my rapier.
Okay, you can swap your weapon there. I'm just going to use this token for now, though it looks nothing like this. Being brought into
It's
the
a
room
big goblin.
is what appears to be a floating brain with no other features other than a beak in front of it and a long set of tendrils that come down from it. There's no ears or eyes to speak of. It's some sort of strange, weird monstrosity that once in the room here, it looks like it's already heavily wounded. Some of its tentacles bleed onto the ground and it hovers weakly. Now, you have just done something, Dudarin. I'll allow Rovian to go first, and then Conrad.
Yeah, I'm gonna blast it with the firebolt here.
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
No, I missed.
Okay. The fireball fizzles out in your hand, unfortunately, and doesn't leave your fingertip. What do you want to do, Conrad?
I assume I'm still paralyzed for a good amount of time
Yes.
here. Okay.
Where is the torch?
Torch is, I don't know, probably over in this direction. Over here somewhere. I don't know, it's still being held by Mage Hand. Because it's not concentration or anything. Just,
Okay. Where is the torch?
fine, torch is right here.
All right. I'm going to use a bonus action to use object,
Okay.
pull out a flask of oil, and like pour it on the brain, I guess, or break it on the brain.
Okay, so that would be a regular attack then, if that's what you're going to do there. So you can pull it out and then throw it at the creature. So that'd be like an interaction and an attack. Does that sound good?
That would be an interaction and an attack. Oh
Yep.
no, that's not. What
So like interaction to pull out the object, and then an
Right.
attack to smash the thing onto it.
So interaction.
Mhm.
What are you classifying that as?
Like an interaction, you get one per turn. It's
Oh,
Like
okay.
pulling something
Okay.
out.
Okay, yeah. So interaction and attack. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So you quickly pull something from your pack here and manage to retrieve a flask of oil. And I want you to go ahead and make me a regular ranged attack with a weapon that you are not proficient with. So just add your dexterity to the roll.
All right. I'd say I'm a little close for that, but a 13.
Okay. The thing smashes on the side of it, and a bunch of oil pours out over the side of the brain here, dripping down to the tentacles.
Okay. Can I use my bonus action, fast hands, to grab the torch and just hold it near the oil?
Sure. Make a swing for me here, because it's moving around wildly. Do the same roll.
A ranged attack without proficiency?
Like a dexterity-based attack. Uh-oh.
Without. Oh, so a 9, I guess.
A 9. Okay, you swing out with the torch, but the creature is flailing madly, and as it does so, you manage to miss it here. With that, let's see here. Phil, I would like you to make for me a saving throw, please. Constitution, my friend.
Kind. Constitution.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
That'll be a 5.
You can feel your body trying to strain past this effect and to break the spell of the poison, but you're unable to as you just lay there on the ground, having been dropped by Dudarin. Dudarin, what do you want to do?
Well, I have this axe in my hand,
You do kind of have an axe in your hand.
so it's gonna kind of be in its face.
Okay, make it a couple attack rolls. Uh-oh, maybe it's not.
12.
A 12 hits.
Oh, I'll just
Mhm.
go ahead and do the other. I'll just do the second attack for it. Well, if a 12 hits, then that hits.
Okay, go ahead and roll damages. If these are good, you might have it.
Attack 1.
Eh.
5.
Okay.
Attack 2.
Ooh.
10.
With a swing, you cut into the side of the brain. Oil seeps into the cut here. The creature lets out a shrill shriek of some sort of bird that should not exist. And then another swing, and your axe cuts straight through the brain, cleaving the thing in half, and its 2 portions fall down to the ground. You are no longer in combat.
Well
Phil.
done today.
Very
The poison runs
Okay.
its course, and you're able to move again.
Guess
Did I
I'm
see
the thing that
anything,
gets
or was
the
I
thing that
face
gets
down?
you.
Face down.
So you would have just been laying there, like staring at the floor, like hearing the sounds of combat, and then eventually just seeing like the 2 halves like onto the ground, and then you're like, "Oh God, I can move again."
Ugh. That was not pleasant.
Hey
I
Phil,
wouldn't imagine.
the thing got you.
Man, that, I get why they call it the thing that gets you. I get it now.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just Gobos being dumb.
Taking a look at this creature, now that it's in full light, do I recognize what this might be?
Ah, does anyone have proficiency in the nature skill?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and roll that.
I've got
Ooh,
animal
poison
handling
is
does that count?
Horrible status effect. That's still a 15.
You believe that this is a Grell, a horrible creature that lurks in dark corners of the world. Its paralytic tentacles have seized many adventurers throughout the day. You know that the thing is welcome to just skulk around and wait for a moment to grab somebody when they're alone. You've managed to fell this one, however, and saved your friend from its horrible paralytic spell. You're almost certain that if it had managed to drag him into that hole, you would never see him ever again.
Do I know if they are loners or if there are more than one general?
Ah. You do not know.
Okay. A grill. Not exactly the most welcoming of creatures. Careful of those tentacles. They're highly poisoned. Paralytic.
Yeah, I noticed.
Speaking of, I will crouch down and see if I can, if I can extract some of that poison with my herbalism kit. I guess. I don't know.
Looking down here, there doesn't appear to be any like visible poison on him, and his body seems to be doing okay. Though a bandage around the neck would probably be nice.
No, I meant from the creature.
Oh, from the creature.
They don't care
yeah.
about me.
The creature's tentacles end with little spines, which seem to be its weapon of choice. And you could try and cut some of these off and bring them with you if you'd like.
Certainly.
Okay. Go ahead and make a survival check for me, please.
All right. Don't roll 1. That's an 11.
Okay. You are able to collect some of these, nearly pricking yourself more than once. The tentacles seem to be a little bit difficult to handle. They still have some muscle memory to them almost, and as you go to make cuts, they squirm ever so gently and threaten to kind of stab your hand. But you're able to collect a few, and you can add 6 Grell stingers to your inventory.
All right. I will take 3 of them and carefully hold them out towards Conrad here. I believe you may have better use of paralytic poison. Would do very well with your style.
It would appear that Conrad has no cares.
All right. Well, like
Or might be
guess
muted.
I'll- Some-
Silently thinks about the offer.
What do you all wish to do?
Quiet contemplator, that Conrad. I'm going to
Well, I
continue
will-
moving around the chamber, specifically looking for additional holes in the wall.
Okay. You find more. Over in one corner, over here, by this side, there's a little hole past one of the bodies. And back here, too, there's another one.
All right, keeping my eyes on both holes. Gonna investigate over here.
Okay. You can see the nice golden gilded box that lays at the front of this this large stone sarcophagus, and the large stone lid on top, which must keep the contents safe. From within, you can feel from your detect magic spell that there is something there, and both of you guys would know of this.
Ooh, spooky! I'm gonna start looting everything.
Hey, Conrad,
Alec,
you find that in this small golden box, there is a little potion that sits inside.
Dibs.
You find that this is something you've seen during your adventuring days. It's a healing potion, a normal one, 2d4 plus 2. You can add that to your inventory.
Okay.
Ah, yes. If you weren't here, I offered you some of these Grell spines that have paralytic poison on them.
Yeah, I'll take 2.
Take 2.
I'll take 2.
Leave the third one.
And can I instead of looting this thing, I'll just drop my crowbar on the ground and act like I didn't know what to do with it and start tying these Grell spines to a couple of arrows.
Sure.
I'm going to pick up the grill corpse, being mindful of the remaining tentacle pricks.
What do you want to do with the corpse?
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna wait until we
Goblins.
go to take it back to the goblins.
Okay, sounds good.
Looking at the tomb here, is it like a, stone box with a lid on it?
Yes.
I will nudge it with my quarterstaff.
Okay. By some foul magic, your quarterstaff is unable to move this incredible stone slab.
What dark magic is this?
I'll start looking around this this thing to see if I see any traps.
Sure. Make an investigation check.
Could use a second pair of or third pair of eyes too. That's an 8.
Also give it a look over. With a nat 20.
You see no traps left here.
Hmm. Darren,
Yes.
do you think you could help with the lid? Push it and move it. That thing.
Yeah, sure.
Hearing that, Conrad coughs and points towards his discarded crowbar.
No, I tried the quarterstaff. It wasn't working, man.
I will.
Conrad hits you in the head with a crowbar.
I will. Well, I guess since I have a bomb arm, I'll have to put down the Grell corpse, but I will attempt to push the lid off.
Okay. Are you going to use the crowbar or just try and brute force it over?
I'll just brute force it.
Yeah, make a strength check for me.
Modded 20.
It takes a moment, but then the whole stone slab gives, and you push and push, and the thing kind of falls off to the side here, and reveals a single corpse which lays there, its hands crossed over its chest, and there, clutched in its skeletal hands, lies what appears to be some sort of gold and gilded magical weapon.
Looking down, is that the source of the detect magic?
It most certainly is.
What kind of weapon?
As you stare at it, Phil, you are greeted to the sight of a single wand, which is held in the two hands. It is completely made of gold, and the end of it is covered in all sorts of multicolored baubles and gems. From your time adventuring,
Of course.
you know that this is a wand of wonder.
I fucking called it.
The staple.
I will sort of gingerly reach down,
Okay.
attempt to pluck it from the corpse.
The corpse gives no resistance as you pull this from its hands, and as you give it a look, you notice something. Down towards the base of the handle, there lies the seal of Verwindihoon's family crest. This is one of the items that the nobles will surely want when you get back to the surface.
Okay.
Careful with that. I've heard they're very dangerous.
What do you mean?
They can use a variety of spells, and that randomness can, well, certainly help in a fight.
You two
Can
wizards,
also to turn it upon us.
do you have proficiency in Arcana?
I do.
I do as well.
Make those rolls.
Oh. There.
That's 12.
Oh, God dang it. That's a 11.
All you guys know is that magical effects are said to be produced by the wand, but you have no idea what magical effects exactly.
Okay.
I have proficiency in Arcana. Do I know what this thing is?
Sure, make your own roll and see what you get.
Alright, 20.
Okay. So yes, you know what this is, and you also know a couple of its effects. You know that it can create clouds of butterflies. You know that it can turn a man into stone. You know that it can shoot out balls of fire. But its effects are not limited to these three. It has quite a plethora of different things that it can do, some of which are unknown to you. It is as helpful as it is dangerous an item.
Good find. Wand of that thing that we said it was of. It does crazy shit.
That's what it says in the manuals.
In the Drow tomes.
No.
Hmm.
So you know that with this in your hand, you could return to the surface and offer this up, and walk away from this dungeon with a sizable fortune and a little bit of fame as well, even without clearing out the rest of it. Now that this is in your hands, you could go back if you wanted, but there might be more to find. It's entirely up to you all. Perhaps better to cut your losses, or maybe better to press onwards. As you
Why
stand
don't
around
we
this
turn
old
this-
tomb, what do you do?
Let's return this corpse to the goblins out there.
Alright, I'm gonna start sprinting around, looting as many things as possible, looking at as many things as possible.
Okay.
I'll call out to Conrad. If you find any rubies, let me know.
Okay.
I will start recasting detect magic while he's searching stuff.
Alright.
I will pick up the Grell corpse once again and begin to walk down.
Okay. So are you going to hang out in this room for 10 minutes?
Yep. depending on if he's done in like 30 seconds, then no. But I expect his looting adventure to last a couple of minutes.
Okay.
So yes.
So you wander around checking the different bodies, Conrad, and I'm going to roll some luck for you. Also, I'm going to ask, are you headed into the other areas? Are you going down this hallway or this one?
Oh,
or...
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. You find...
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, go ahead. I got something for this.
What's that?
I got something for this, but go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, you find some coin here and there. There are other trinkets, but not quite as easily portable, and most of them sentimental, not really worth much in gold. But by the time that you're done, you manage to loot 37 gold pieces from the different corpses throughout the hall. Now,
Find some what?
you find 37 gold pieces.
Okay.
Now, at the end of each of these hallways, you find that there are more rooms. There's one like this, and then there's one like this. Whether or not you want to go through them is up to you. I will also update your map. And there you go. Now, this process takes a few minutes. It seems as though Rovian is back in the crypt there, going ahead to get his detect magic back up once again. And, Phil and Dudairn, well, Dudairn, you're carrying the corpse, and are you just bringing it right over to the goblins?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're headed off in this direction by this point. Phil, what are you up to?
If Dudarin's going off to the goblins, I will take my place as ambassador of the goblins and escort him.
Okay. Now, Conrad, you have the decision to make. Do you go into any of these doors?
Hold on. Alright. Video at current URL.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'm going in. I'm fucking, yeah, dude. That's,
I remember this shit. Oh my god.
that's me right now, dude. How much can I find in 10 minutes?
Oh god. Okay. So eventually your spell finishes up here, Rovian. You're able to rejoin with Conrad. And Conrad, where would you be? Are you going into one of the rooms?
Yes.
Okay. So, unless you have some business over in this room here, which you can tell doesn't have any magical items, you could find Conrad here, and it seems that the other two have disappeared, headed somewhere else.
Perhaps we should wait, Conrad.
I honestly don't know how he caught up to me. Like, what?
Well, depending on how long it would.
took me 10 minutes to search, like,
Yeah,
this
there's a lot of
hallway,
bodies
then
in
this
here.
hallway. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm just
I'll say
fucking-
you checked
I
this
ignore him.
hallway as well.
Okay, I ignore him.
Okay. So you pass through the doorway and find a similar room. Once again, there is a single crypt right at the center of a fairly large room, which is outlined with all these different dead bodies.
Do I have my crowbar back? Oh, I guess they didn't use.
Yeah, so you could have your crowbar.
I'm following him. See if there's anything magical in here.
Okay.
I'll look around.
As you step inside, you find once again that there are offerings in front of this large thing, and, also luck, there is a magical signature that comes from within this large stone case. It bears the
Another something in there.
Verwindian seal as well.
I'll stick the crowbar in it and then get on top of it and do a backflip onto the crowbar.
Make a, let's say, make an acrobatics check for me.
That's what I was going for.
Jeez.
I think that's probably good enough. I don't
And make
remember
a
exactly.
make a strength check with advantage for me.
Ah, yes, son of a bitch.
Yep.
So 23 in acrobatics into a strength check with. Oh boy, double ones.
Okay.
A 9.
There's a moment where the crowbar flexes, and then it pops out from here as the stone slab is pushed forward, and it doesn't actually quite pop off entirely, so it's just nudged to the side, but it allows you to see into the area as the crowbar kind of tumbles down to the ground here, and you're able to retrieve that.
Which I
Okay. Inside of the chest, as you guys crowd around and look in there, you can see there is a golden item in this dead corpse's hands. It looks like a longsword, and the hilt and handle are completely made of gold. So is the pommel, and the blade is made of some sort of bluish metal.
can I reach in there and grab it, or is it not
Sure.
open?
Yeah, you reach
Yeah.
in and get to retrieve this. You can add to your inventory a Verwindi Hoon longsword. Down by the pommel, you can see the crest of the family.
Excellent.
Now,
Seems to be
meanwhile,
paid rather well.
you guys are off and have managed to make it up towards the door here that has the goblins behind it.
I'll knock on the door.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Phil again.
The response. Yes, Phil. Is it done?
Yep, we got it.
Show me.
I begin to open the door, and I kind of gesture for Darren to drag it in.
Okay.
I throw it in the middle of the room.
There's a bunch of different reactions that come from inside of the room, but you hear a lot of, like, awestruck, like, as creatures look on, and eventually a couple of footsteps followed by armor clinking around as one of the larger one comes over and looks down and examines the creature. It moves portions of it out to the side with the tip of its sword, like a 10-foot pole, not wanting to get too close to it, and then eventually looks over towards you. And I'm going to roll some luck for you. Okay. He looks over towards the two of you here in the doorway and nods towards you, Phil, and says, "Very well, it is done. We will not intercept your group as you travel through here. Proven yourself useful. I warn you,
Appreciate it.
do not travel in the door to the east."
Door
Why?
to the east.
Yes.
It's over there.
Or to the east is another one of our small camps, just like this one. And I assure you, we do not have any of these items that you are looking for, but would not like to be disturbed either. When you're done dealing with the door in the south, turn and leave.
Can I roll insight or something to see if he does in fact have some of the items we want?
Sure.
That is a 19, I think.
Okay. You believe that he's telling you the truth.
Okay. Not trying to hide it, but like when I was insight checking him, I was kind of squinting at him, like, is he telling me the truth?
Okay.
Deciding that he's telling me the truth. Put up my hand. Well, glad to be of service to you.
Steps forwards. Once again, very, very slowly, his sword in the other hand. He shakes, and then steps away. Says, "Goodbye, Phil."
Well, goodbye. And I turn and leave.
The door closes, and you leave the group of goblins here, and manage to make your way back. Meanwhile, off in the crypt, the two of you have managed to retrieve a sword from one of these rooms. And what do you guys do next?
I guess start investigating around, make sure there's not any traps in here, or see if there's anything hidden.
Much like the other rooms, you find that some of the little alcoves have holes that go elsewhere, but no creatures seem to appear, nor do any hidden compartments present themselves.
Okay. Only one more room to check then. Shall we?
Do you guys check the last room?
Head that direction. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Conrad?
Is he going into the other room?
Yep, the last one.
Yeah.
I'm going towards, yeah. I'll push it open with Mage Hand, you know. Be real careful and everything. I don't want to get smacked by the...
I am not careful.
The final room looks much like the others, and seems to be identical.
I want to javelin throw the crowbar into the coffin and then do a front to it.
Okay. Your skills with the crowbar flip are quite incredible, and you manage to once again shuffle the large stone slab to the side and find that here is another one of Verwindy Hoon's family heirlooms. This one looks like a crown.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'll take it.
Okay, you nab the crown with a swiftness. Now,
Fancy.
as you step inside and grab this, you find that there's nowhere else to go and have checked everything. And by now, the two of your friends have made it past down the intersection and can be heard traveling down the halls. Unless you two were headed in a different direction.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
Wait, yes? Not me.
You all
Just
meet
see
up.
see if there's anything lootable in the other 2 rooms that we.
Okay. You find that there is, and a coin can be found, and you're able to add 17 gold to your inventory, Rovian.
All right. Cool. Well, I think we're good. Get quite a payday out of this. Free
Yeah.
little artifact.
We should go and see what's in the room to the east before we leave.
No, so we talked to the goblins. That's like another one of their like home things.
Okay. Do
And-
they?
Oh, they don't want us going there.
Why?
I don't know. Said they don't want us going there. Didn't seem like they were hiding anything. I think they just don't like us.
The goblins in one room did not want us to go in another room?
Mhm.
How would they even know?
Well, I mean, imagine like, they're not like isolated colonies of goblins. They probably communicate on occasion.
Well, we did interrupt their big central room there.
Yeah, like what if they were having a big birthday party in the middle and we just interrupted it? Like when we leave, they come back out to party again, and then like the guys in the east room are like, "Yo, those humans came by. What's up with that?"
I mean, not to be a stickler for attention to detail here, but I feel like the Vindic gods up above would not tolerate the existence of these creatures. Neither do I.
I mean, what did they do to you?
It's not what they did to me. It's what I don't know that they have. I will go and take a look. Maybe I can some.
Okay, are you guys going to the east then?
Yeah,
wait
dude, it's a
outside
fucking one shot,
hallway.
bro.
Okay,
Ain't trying to make it out of this alive, fam.
alright. So you guys go back up there and eventually travel over to the side hall here. Are all of you here following Conrad up there?
I'll to the central room. I'm gonna wait, at the edge of the hallway there,
Okay.
kind of outside the doorway.
I'm gonna start picking through the central rooms like fires, just kind of like examining the fires,
Okay.
looking what's burning up in them.
So Conrad, you're alone in this hallway, it sounds like. Dudarin, are you going with him or anything? Oh, Dudarin has fallen over.
No,
Or is
Not
muted,
Dudarin.
one of the two. They seem to strike pretty often.
It's gonna get life alert.
So, what do you want to do, Conrad? This hallway here stops at first at a door, but as you open up this door, find it's much like the other ones, and goes up to another wooden door, which is still managed to survive and remain sturdy throughout the years. Oh, Dudarin's back. Dudarin, are you going with Conrad, or are you staying with the rest in this large room?
I'm staying in center room.
Okay, so Conrad, you're alone.
Alright.
You approach the door here. What do you want to do?
Steel Team 6, dude. Let's go. I'm gonna combat roll, sneak up to the door,
Okay.
and I'm gonna give it a listen.
As you listen, you can hear something from beyond the door. But just what, I don't know. You'll have to roll for me a perception check, please.
Cheeky bugger. Oh, you cheeky cunt. Uh-oh. That's a 5.
There's chitter chatter from beyond the door.
More chick. Alright. I'm gonna sneak up like a motherfucker.
Okay.
Actually, If I go back and like sift through some of the ashes in the center room and cover myself in them, will it make me more stealthy?
It'll give you a +1 to stealth.
I will go and roll around in the ashes of one of the doubt fires.
Okay. You guys all watch as this is taking place.
I'll shrug. I'll sit
Yeah.
by that doorway to the east.
Okay.
Deal. Take a short rest.
Okay.
All right. And then I will go back. And I will kind of hunch up towards the side of the door that opens,
Okay.
but like not in the door frame. And then I'll reach kind of down behind me and push the door open just a smidge.
Okay. The door inches ever so lightly, and as it does, you hear a creature on the other side that suddenly calls out in some sort of foreign tongue. And then a different creature calls towards you, and it says, "Who goes there?"
Did I mention that I wanted to open up the door really stealthily?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Now, to be clear, you did this as quietly as possible, but something must have been just watching the door explicitly.
Shit. Well, can I peek the crack then?
Sure.
Stealthily?
Less than an inch is available to you, but as you stare through it, you see a similar room. There's like a little fire off in the distance there, and what looks like a couple of goblins that are seated and eating by the fire.
Okay.
It doesn't appear that one of them was what called out to you.
Okay. In my best goblin-y voice. You guys ready for this? This is gonna get insane. We're going 0 to 100 here, fam. I'm gonna
My body's
call
ready.
out and say, "We got the thing that takes them, and we're having a party in the north room. Everybody should come now, or there's gonna be blood."
I'd like you to make a deception check, please. And I'd like you to make it with
my God.
advantage.
Yes, please roll high.
Okay,
Oh,
The voice
Deception.
calls back and says,
that's a 19.
"The thing that gets them? For real? Alright, boys. You heard him. A north room." And then
All right,
you hear
and
a
then
whole bunch of
before-
footsteps coming towards you.
Before they come towards the door, I'd like to attempt to stealthily, like, jump up and, like, become a corner of the ceiling.
Okay. Go ahead and make for me a acrobatics, then a stealth roll.
Alright, acrobatics.
Uh-oh.
Lucky.
You have the lucky feat.
21 on this on the acrobatics.
Okay.
And let's go ahead and lucky that one too.
Why not?
And a 19 on the stealth.
Okay. You leap up and nearly miss it, but manage to just kind of tuck yourself away into the corner here, and the door flies open. No one seems to notice you as a pouring of goblins and hobgoblins comes out of the room. They're all excited, rushing out into the other room. You guys all see what looks like a war party running down the hallway towards you.
Was I able to hear what he was saying about
Yep.
the north room? Okay. Then I'll just stay there, and if they look at me, I'll just point to the room.
Eventually, the hobgoblins come into this large room here, and the trickle of creatures has stopped, Conrad, so it looks like this might be your chance. And off in the main room, one of them shouts out and goes, "What the fuck is this?"
I'll point towards the north room. Like you said,
I just shrug.
you
Yeah.
think he's gonna miss that party? He's already gone.
They already kind of pull out their weapons and pause here. Conrad, what are you up to?
I'll poke my head in at the top of the door frame. And by head in, I mean just my eyeballs.
You see what looks like a large pile of treasure straight ahead of you up on a raised pedestal.
Is there anybody else in there?
No, it is empty. There are fires that still burn from where the goblins were moments ago, but they've all ran out.
Okay, time is of the essence. So I'm gonna run over to the pile of treasure,
Okay?
and I'm going to look specifically for everything with the crest on it,
Alright. As
and
you run...
or a magical-looking bow or rapier.
Okay.
Everything else is of no interest to me.
As you run over towards the treasure, you hear something. It's like a loud and heavy creak from behind you, and this happens while you're sifting through the treasure. Before you can turn around to see what it is, you hear... And there's a fucking giant iron golem standing there that puts like its fist into its hand as it starts to move towards you, and we'll end the session there.
Beautiful. The one off. No, 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 no. Yes.
So I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Thanks for stopping by here. That was good
Oh
fun.
yeah, that's great.
That was good.
Oh.
Good old
Alright.
lucky feet, dude. I knew I'd need it.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. That's why we don't allow that shit.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
So was there really an iron golem in that room, or were you just like, I'm ending the session, let's put the fear into his ass?
no, I was gonna have an iron golem in the last room. It was the boss battle to be. It would be like the non mobs.
Oh shit, okay.
Because you gotta have something to challenge a bunch of level 5 adventurers, right? So there's gonna be an iron golems. So you stepped from like in between its legs and ran up to the treasure, and then like,
Oh no.
and then like turn around and the thing's just like, it's time to go, bitch.
I pull a Scrooge McDuck and dive into the treasure.
Exactly, that's it. And it's like the little dovetails of gold flying off as you like leap into it is the last scene, and then in the background in the tunnel you can just see like all the goblins about to kill your friends. So yeah, thanks to all the players, to the audience members and patrons. We're gonna end this one here. Hope you guys enjoyed the one shot, and we will see you tomorrow for another game. Adios.
Can I retroactively